Welcome back to Legalese 123, where we are covering cases across America. Hello, and welcome to Legalese 123. I'm your host, Missy K. Welcome in, welcome. It is a Thursday, the 29th of July. That's right. We only have, it's the 30th of July. Oh my goodness. It's 30th of July. We only have one more day before July is gone. And then it is back to August. All right. Law lovies. I'm waiting for everybody to come on in, and then we are going to start our day. Hopefully everybody had a good sleep. I know there was a full moon. I didn't sleep well, but that's okay. That's all right. Just letting oh boy, can I spell today? Lindsay Clancy, day 3. Join me. We are live, I tell you. Had to get a new notebook today. So that's okay. We're starting fresh, etc. All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and get started. Court is courting this morning. Actually, it just started. We don't have very much Zoom room at all because it started exactly when I popped on. So, here we are. So before we get started, I wanted to talk a little bit about yesterday and what transpired. So you have to tell me what you think. Do you think that, the court was basically stating to us that the prosecution stated that she was a controlling person? And by controlling, does that mean a person who takes copious notes? She's a labor and delivery nurse, right? You would want to think that a labor and delivery nurse is someone who, takes a great amount of detailed notes. She's your labor and delivery nurse, right? You saw the notes that she made. So is the prosecution saying that because somebody who takes very detailed notes is somebody who is a controlling person? Question mark, right? What about, her notes to the babysitter or nanny? I've written those types of notes. Have you written those types of notes? For example, to your husband. Husband, you tell them something and then 5 minutes later, they're like, what? I don't remember you saying that to me. So you write them a note and you're like, here's a note. Or like when they're going to the grocery store, you say you want milk, but you want a specific milk. You want like the almond breeze oat milk that's unsweetened. So you write it all out. Excuse me. Does that mean you're a controlling person? No. So you let me know what you think. The comments are open. Don't worry. Court is just courting. We're just getting started. So not a big deal. Here we go. Day 3, Lindsay Clancy. Thanks for joining me. Make sure to send me a comment where you're coming in from. And let me know what you're drinking this morning. Got any coffee? What's your favorite thing to drink? Okay, here we go. It just started, by the way. I'd like to hear yees and hear yees. Also, let me know what you think of the case so far. Are you convinced from the prosecution yet? Now, mind you, it's only day 3.
Hear ye, all persons having anything to do before the Honorable William Sullivan, Justice of the Superior Court, now sitting in Plymouth, sitting before the Commonwealth. Draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This court is now in session. Please be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, before the court today, we have a continuation of the jury trial in the matter of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. Ms. Clancy is present. She is represented by Attorney Kevin Reddington. The Commonwealth is represented by Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Sprague and Assistant District Attorney Shannon Buckingham.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I hope everybody had a nice, restful evening last night. Thank you for your patience with us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you those questions to make sure everybody was able to follow my instructions. They're going to go over briefly our schedule for today and the schedule for tomorrow. All right. So let me get to those questions. The first question is, any member of the jury read, seen, or heard anything from any source that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case? No. All right. Next question, is there any other serious matter of concern bearing on your service as a juror in this case that anybody needs to bring my attention at this time? No. All right, good. Thank you for following those instructions. Now, in regards to our schedule today, it's anticipated, as you know, in these cases, sometimes the best laid plans, but it's anticipated that we'll go this morning to about 11 o'clock. We'll take a break at 11. We'll come back. We'll take our afternoon break at 1 o'clock, and we'll go into the afternoon, probably somewhere between 3 and 4. All right, so that's today's schedule. Tomorrow's schedule, as best we can tell, we're going to do that view sometime probably.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I have the spinning wheel of death. Oh no. Hold on just a second. I have a spinning wheel of death. I'm not sure if
And we're going to get out of the bus.
Okay.
So, it's just
We're back.
For the wise for footwear and to double check the weather. I'll go into that a little bit more probably by the end of the day, but in case I forget, that's what we're going to do. And then the thought would be after that, we'll come back. We'll probably.
Okay. I don't know why I got the spinning wheel of death. I'm sorry. I don't know if it was them.
Good morning.
Okay, sorry. Let's just go back a little bit. Okay. All right. They're going to go on a jury visit tomorrow morning. All right. Commonwealth witness number 3.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony in the evidence you give before the jury and that the outcome will be in Commonwealth and the Senate is actually true,
All right, good morning. Morning. All right. So I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up so the jury can hear you. Yes. And with that, Attorney Sprague.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Stephen Hall, Stephenhall.
And your date of birth?
3/26/1983.
Where do you work?
Work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been a Duxbury police officer?
Since 2015, so roughly 11 years.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
I was.
What shift were you working?
The 4 to midnight.
And would that be 4 p.m. to midnight?
Yes.
And were you in uniform?
Yes.
Were you in a marked cruiser?
Yes.
And were you on patrol?
Yes.
And being on patrol, were you alone or with a partner?
I was alone.
Further directing your attention to approximately 6:11 p.m. At that time, did you receive a dispatch to go to 47 Summer Street?
Oh, no.
Duxbury?
I don't think
I
it,
did in Duxbury.
I don't know why
And so
we're
how long did it
glitching.
take
I
you
had to
get
change
from
the
there to
feed.
47 Summer Street.
Okay, hold on just a second. I don't know if it's the feed from the pool camera or it's me. I'm hoping it's the pool camera. Let's just continue a little bit longer. Let's see
7 to 10
if we
minutes.
continue to have issues.
And did you go to 47 Summer Street?
Yes.
And what did you see when you arrived there?
When I arrived, it was just a house. There was a gate open on the left side of the house.
I'll show you a few exhibits that have already been marked. Exhibit 32. Is this the house you responded to?
Yes.
I'm showing you exhibit 34. Is that the left side of the house?
It is.
And exhibit 35 is the gate that you went in depicted in this exhibit.
It is. The ambulance.
And exhibit 33. Is this the house you responded to?
Yes.
I'm showing you exhibit 34. Is that the left side of the house?
It is.
And exhibit 35 is the gate that you went in depicted in this exhibit.
It is.
First officer on scene,
I arrived simultaneously with Officer Josephine.
and is he also an officer with Duxbury Police?
Yes.
And so did you both head to that same direction, or did you go in different directions?
We both went to the backyard as we were dispatched to.
And you said you went to the left, correct?
Yes. We heard a male voice calling for us on the left side. So.
And that's where you headed?
Yes.
Okay. And did you encounter a male in the backyard?
Yes.
And did you later learn his name was Patrick Clancy?
I did.
What was his demeanor?
He was upset. Didn't know what was going on. So.
And did you see anyone else in the backyard?
No.
Did you see anyone on the ground?
Yes.
And who was on the ground?
Miss Clancy.
Is that Lindsay Clancy?
Yes,
And do you see her in the courtroom today?
I do.
Could you point to her?
No issue with ID. Record may reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
Thank you. Where was she positioned?
She was on the ground if you were looking at the backyard on the right side.
Showing you what's been previously marked as exhibit 38. Is this the back of the house?
It is.
And showing you what's been marked as exhibit 37. Do you see the area where the defendant was when you entered the backyard?
Yes.
Mind standing up with court permission and just pointing that out to the jurors?
It's in this area.
And if the record could reflect, he's pointing near the window well to the far right side of the back of the house.
Record may reflect that.
I wonder if she hit the window well.
When you saw her in that location, do you remember where her head was?
Her head was towards the house,
And where were her feet?
pointing out away from the house.
Are you trained in first aid as part of your job?
Yes.
And do you carry equipment with you in case you have to provide first aid to someone?
Yes.
When you saw the defendant on the ground, did you go to her and observe any injuries?
She had cuts to both wrists and to the left side of her neck.
The cuts to her wrists, were those actively bleeding when you saw them?
No, they were not.
When you saw the cuts to her neck, were those actively bleeding?
No.
Did you, based on your training and experience, feel the need to provide any medical care to those cuts or use any of the equipment you had to tend to those cuts?
Not at that time.
Was she conscious?
Semi-conscious, in and out of consciousness.
And what was she doing that gave you that indication?
She would wake up and move around and then kind of just go still again.
And when you say she would move around, what parts of her body was she moving?
Just her head, really.
Was she able to speak to you?
She wasn't, no.
Was she making any sounds?
She was just like, it sounded like she was in pain.
So something like moaning or something like that?
Yes.
While you and Officer Josephine are there, do other first responders, such as firefighters, start to arrive?
Yes, they started to arrive, and I went to the to gate to direct them where to go.
And how did you know they had arrived?
You could hear the sirens.
So you heard the sirens and went to the gate to tell them to come to that side?
Correct.
While you were doing this, did Patrick Clancy stay with you?
At one point, he went inside to say he was going to check on his children.
And did you see what entrance he used to go into the house?
He went towards the backslider.
Shortly after Patrick Clancy went inside the home, did you receive a call on your radio?
Yes.
And what did you hear on your radio?
Dispatch said that he couldn't wake them up.
And did you know what they were talking about when you initially heard that?
Not really, no.
Did something then catch your attention?
Yeah, I heard a loud scream from inside.
And could you tell where it was coming from?
They're just inside the house.
And the screaming, was it words or just sound?
It was just a sound.
When you heard that screaming, what did you do?
Myself and Officer Josephine ran towards the slider and entered into the house.
And when you entered into the house, do you remember what room you entered into?
Into a kitchen.
And when you entered into the kitchen, could you still hear that screaming?
No. We could hear he was talking, but there was screaming was done.
When you said he was talking, who was talking?
Patrick Clancy.
So you could hear Patrick Clancy talking at that time?
Yes.
And could you tell where he was?
Yes, he was in the basement.
And did you head to the basement stairs?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 41. Are these the stairs that you went to?
Yes.
Did you go to the bottom of the stairs?
I did.
Once you got to the bottom of the stairs, is it accurate that you either have to go right or left?
Correct.
Which direction did you go?
We heard Patrick Clancy talking from the right, so we went in that direction.
Could you hear what he was saying?
Do you mind if I?
You don't recall?
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Do you recall him saying, I can't wake them up, I can't get them up?
Yes.
And do you remember his demeanor as he was saying that?
He seemed very upset.
What did you do in response to that?
He came from a back room, so we ran into that back room.
Just going back to when you came down the stairs and turned to the right, do you recall what type of room that was when you went to the right?
It looks like a workout room, like a workout area.
I'm going to show you a few pictures here. If you could just look at them and tell me if you recognize what they depict.
Yes.
And do you recognize these to be photographs of that workout room that you entered into when you went to the right?
Yes.
We could have these marked as the next few exhibits
All right, those may be admitted.
or exhibits.
This is probably going to be a very emotional day as these responders testify to their observation as to what happened that evening. I'm already getting choked up just watching him.
Sir,
Please like and
showing
subscribe.
Exhibit 89. Is that the view when you first come down the stairs and turn to the right?
Yes.
And then showing you exhibit 90 of those exercise bands there tied to the closet door?
Yes.
91, just a close-up of that, correct?
Yes.
Then 92, what are we seeing in this photograph, sir?
That was the back room that seemed to be coming from.
That Patrick was coming from?
Yes.
You also looked at two photographs from that room of those fair and accurate depictions of how the room looked that day.
Yes.
We could have these marked as the next two exhibits, please.
All right, they may be admitted.
There's like a bouncy chair in his office, so like he could watch the baby while he was working.
Sir, did you head to that back room?
I did.
And what did you see when you got to that back room?
Just past the door on the left side, there was a body of a young child.
And do you remember what position the child was in?
He had his feet towards the door and his head towards the wall.
And was he on his back or his stomach?
He was on his back.
And do you recall what he was wearing?
He was shirtless. I believe he was just in a diaper or underwear of some sort.
And showing you
Thank you.
exhibit 93, if you wouldn't mind just pointing out where you saw his body. Record reflect he's pointed to the area of the yellow exercise band.
It may reflect that.
And sir, that yellow exercise band, did you see that in that position when you saw the body of the child on the floor?
Yes.
Exhibit 94 was of that position. Sir, did you later learn that child's name was Dawson Clancy?
I did.
And can you describe his physical appearance when you saw him?
He was discolored, like a bluish purple.
Do you remember what his face and neck looked like?
No.
What happened next?
I called for paramedics to come to the basement. I also called for a supervisor, and Officer Josephine picked up the child, and we ran him outside through the front door to the ambulance.
And did you do anything after that, after giving Dawson to EMTs?
We ran back down into the basement to check to see if we could find other children.
And what made you think there were other children to find?
When Patrick Clancy said, well, I can't wake them up instead of just a singular.
And so when you went back inside, did you go back down the basement stairs?
Correct.
And this time, did you go to the left?
Yes.
Sir, showing you a series of photographs. You could just tell me if they clearly and accurately reflect how the left side of the basement looked on January 24th, 2023 when you went in there.
Right, just for the record, they don't need to lay a foundation. I agree to the photographs, no objection to any of them, so we don't have to go through all the
All right,
foundations.
thank you. All right.
You recognize those?
Yes.
Could I just mark this the next exhibits, please?
I'm wondering if it's a strategy for Reddington to sort of like quickly go through this, but you can't go quickly through these things. The prosecution should kind of draw it out as much as they can. Why? Because you see that this witness is visibly upset, right? And even though you can't have emotions into these things, it's very emotional. I mean, this is the prosecution's case, right? At the moment. Remember, they're saying that she intended to do this.
Thank you.
Sure. So showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 95. Is this what you saw when you went down the stairs and went to the left, that first view?
Yes.
And then showing you Exhibit 96, is that a further view as you go into the room?
Yes.
Now, when you went into that room, what did you see?
There were 2 children on the floor, motionless, and EMTs and paramedics were working on them.
And did you later learn that those children were Cora Clancy and Callan Clancy?
Yes.
Did you do anything to assist the medics at that time?
Excuse me. I asked if they needed any equipment.
And did they ask you to get some equipment?
They asked me to grab a heart monitor.
And did you do that?
I went and found the fire captain to ask where I could grab one, and he was pretty upset. So I ended up going back downstairs into the basement.
At some point in time, actually, if I could show you Exhibit 96 again and just ask if you could just point to us where you saw each child.
Okay.
So for the record, the first area you pointed to was in between the blood stain and the black exercise band, is that correct?
Correct.
And then the second area was over toward, in front of that small nightstand or some type of shelving unit.
Yes.
At some point in time, did you go back outside?
Yes, they stated they need an officer with Lindsay Clancy.
And I'm going to show you a photo here outside near that window well that's towards the right of the house. Is that where Lindsay Clancy was, where that medical debris is?
Yes.
And just showing you another photograph. Is that just showing further to the right in a broader area of that same scene?
Yes.
I could have the close-up mark as the next exhibit and the broader photo as the
All
following.
right. They may be admitted.
It's 103 and 104. While you were out there with the defendant, were medical staff, paramedics treating her?
Yes.
And did you happen to look up?
Yes, I did.
What did you see when you looked up?
There was an open window with blood marks around the window.
And did you also see blood marks on the shingles below that window?
I did.
Showing you a photograph here. So up at the top, is this the open window you're referring to?
Yes.
Zooming in on the shingles here to the left and right, just below that window, are those the blood marks you're referring to?
Yes.
And here in this photograph, you had mentioned blood marks on the upper window. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
And then here at the top of the lower window, these marks here, are those the other blood marks that you saw?
Yes.
If we could have these photos marked as the next exhibits.
All right. They may be admitted.
super heavy today. Super heavy. Just breathe.
While you
Just
were out there in the
breathe.
backyard, did you see a ripped or, oh, I'm sorry. While you were outside, did you see any ripped or torn screens on the ground?
No.
She keeps going back to these
What did you do
screens.
next?
I just went over to the paramedic, asked what I can help him with. He said she was good, but she kept taking her face mask off for oxygen, and so I just kept replacing it back onto her face.
And when you say she, are you referring to Lindsay Clancy?
Yes,
And did you then help them get the stretcher to the ambulance?
yes.
I have nothing further.
Reddington?
I liked her questioning of him. Kind of sweet and to the point.
Thank you for your incredible service.
Do you have any
You may
questions?
sit down. Thank you.
Oh, he's done. I was sorry. I was in. I mean, what can he ask him? That's going to help his defense, right?
Chief Ray.
What is?
Commonwealth calls Officer Brian Josephine.
Okay, so witness number 4 is Officer Josephine. He's probably going to testify something similar to the same things. Maybe he has an observation or two that's different. Again, I'm drinking my Ninja smoothie blender. I have my protein powder, collagen, and a shot of espresso. So hi everybody, how you doing? I kind of forewarned you that today was going to be heavy in reference to police and firefighters and EMTs and rescuers. That's kind of like the progression of how things go. So it might be a little bit heavy, but we're here together and we can talk about things.
Hi, good morning, sir.
He doesn't look happy already.
Thank you. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Brian, Brian, Josephine, Josepphine.
And what's your date of birth, sir?
June 13th, 1990.
And where do you work?
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been a police officer?
I started there in April of 2020.
And did you work for the Plymouth Police before that?
Yes, I did.
And how long did you do that?
Almost 5 years.
What is your current role?
I am patrol officer.
Back in January of 2023, what was your role with the Duxbury Police Department?
I was the school resource officer for Alden and Chandler. I work with kids kindergarten through 5th grade.
Oh dear.
Directing your attention specifically to January 24th, 2023, were you working an overtime shift that day?
Yes, I had picked up an overtime shift.
And what shift was that?
It was 4 to midnight, but I was scheduled to work till 8 p.m.
8 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were scheduled to be there from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., is that correct?
That is correct.
And you were in a cruiser, and a marked cruiser in a uniform?
Yes, I was fully dressed in Duxbury Police uniform. I was in a marked cruiser, Duxbury Police 172.
And did you receive a dispatch at approximately 6:11 p.m. to go to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes, we did.
And when you say we, were you with a partner or were you alone?
No, I was by myself. We ride single in a cruiser there.
Okay. So when you say we, do you mean that it was dispatched to all officers on patrol?
So usually with critical incidents calls, they put it over to dispatch and they'll say, Duxbury police cars, start making your way to a certain address. That way everyone can get there as quickly as possible.
Okay. And so then you knew at that point to go to 47 Summer Street.
Yes, ma'am.
And approximately how long did it take you to get there?
I would say anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes.
So you were relatively close by when you received the dispatch?
Yes, I was.
And when you arrived at 47 Summer Street, what did you observe?
Dispatch was giving me description of the house. It took probably 15 seconds for me to identify the house. Parked in the street. I saw the number of the house and I made my way. I believe it was a mudroom that I went to.
Showing you exhibit 33. When you say the mudroom that you went to, did you actually go inside of the house or did you go to the door to the mudroom?
I went to the door to the mudroom to check if that was unlocked so I could make my way to the back of the house.
And is that door depicted in this photograph?
Yes, it is.
And is it the door to the left of the garage?
Yes, it is.
And was the door locked or unlocked?
It was locked at that time.
So what did you do next?
I radioed dispatch just for confirmation of where that party we were trying to get to was located. They told me it was around back of the house, so I tried to make my way that way.
And when you went to the back of the house, how did you get there?
Well, referring back to the picture where the car was parked, I went to the right side and I went around the garage. There was a fence and I went over the fence, I believe.
So showing you exhibit 33, again, you went by these cars. And
He
around
hopped the
house
fence?
to the right.
Yes, that's correct.
How big was the fence?
And showing you exhibit 37. Does that mean that you would have been coming around the house over here by the garage on the left and in the porch, the deck?
Yes, that's correct.
Must
And
not have been a big
when you came
fence.
around there, what did you see?
I made my way.
Oh,
I
yeah, see, there it
observed
is.
2 parties,
Little
one
small
lying in the
picket
ground and
fence.
one standing over it. And I started making my way towards the other end of the house, which is towards this fence, as you guys can see in reference to that photo.
And so when you say the other end of the house, are you talking about this area here, the father's furthest right 2 windows?
Yes, that is correct.
And the person that was standing, did you later learn that was Patrick Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And the person on the ground, did you later learn that was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And at some point in time, was Officer Hall also back there with you?
Yes, he came from this side over here, the opposite direction in which I came.
So facing the house, he would have come around the left side of the house if you're facing the house?
Yes, he parked on the street and came from this side, the opposite of where I came from.
Okay. And do you recall
you-
what Patrick Clancy was doing when you first saw him?
He was standing over Lindsay at that point. It appeared that he was trying to communicate with her. I observed him with a cell phone. It was kind of down by his side, so I don't know if they were talking or what, but it was probably a split second, and then he turned in my location, saw me because I was illuminating the yard with my flashlight, and then that's when me and him crossed paths.
Okay. And so you said you saw him with his cell phone by his side. Was it in his hand by his side?
Yes, I believe is in his left hand.
Okay. And you say you crossed paths with him. Approximately where did you cross paths with him?
It was probably right by the bulkhead, I would say.
And so in the photograph,
He was
the
chewing
left
gum.
is the bulkhead, is that correct?
That is correct.
And where was he headed?
He was heading, I believe, up towards the deck. Yeah, obviously I didn't know it at that time, but he was just walking past me pretty fast in an abrupt manner. So
And did he say anything to you as he passed?
no, he did not.
And after you crossed paths with Patrick, where did you go?
I went to the female party.
And did you speak to her?
I attempted to.
And what did you say?
I just was trying to get basic information, where she was hurt, where she needed attention, anything I could do to kind of help her until fire arrived.
And did she respond to your questions?
She mumbled and it wasn't a definitive answer.
Did you observe any injuries?
Yes, she was laying on the ground. There was cuts to her right wrist, I believe, and to the right side of her neck.
And were those cuts actively bleeding at that time?
They were bleeding, but not profusely.
Did you, are you trained in first aid?
Yes.
Did you feel the need to put pressure on those wounds immediately?
No. we also carry medical equipment such as tourniquet, gauze, stuff like that. And I believe due to the circumstances that I didn't need to utilize those tools.
And the tourniquet that you carry, is that in case someone has some type of cut where an artery has been damaged or cut?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you're trained to recognize when it's something serious like an artery spraying blood everywhere versus a cut that
Yeah.
doesn't need a tourniquet?
Yes, we are.
Okay. And you didn't see the need for a tourniquet?
I did not know.
And based on your training in first aid and as a police officer, as a first responder, did those wounds appear life-threatening?
No, they did not.
Did other emergency personnel from the fire department begin to arrive?
Yes, so I would say I tried to talk to Ms. Clancy for probably 30 seconds to a minute. And at that point, coming from that opposite side of the house, I observed Duxbury fire personnel show up. And our protocol is to kind of turn the medical over to them because they're more highly trained than we are.
Okay. And at some point in time, do you hear something?
Yes.
What do you hear?
Myself and Officer Hall were standing by that window and we just started hearing loud screams.
And what did you do when you heard those loud screams?
We immediately were trying to figure out where they were coming from. I'm not sure if dispatch or something came over the air and said something about the basement, but we both just started making our way back towards the deck part of the house.
Did you go in through the sliding glass doors?
Yes, we went up the deck and through the sliding glass doors into the kitchen.
And did you then head to the basement?
Yes.
Okay. And could you hear any sounds coming from the basement as you entered the kitchen?
Yes, it was the exact screaming that I heard from the window.
And did you go down the stairs to the basement?
Yes, we did.
And did you see anything as you went down the stair after you went down the stairs?
So we went down the stairs and there was a picture at the bottom of the stairs, I believe, of Lindsay and Patrick. And the basement splits off into two, a right and a left area. And the screams were coming from the right area. So that's where we directed our attention to first.
And did you see Patrick?
Yes. That right side opens up and it's like 2 rooms, I believe. So we went into the first room, which was kind of dark and there was some cluttered stuff around, and Patrick was in that back room at the time.
So showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 92. Is that the
Starting to
hallway
tear
that
up.
back room?
Yes, it is.
And then Exhibit 93, is that the inside of that back room?
Yes, it is.
And do you recall what, if anything, Patrick was saying as you encountered him?
Upon his observation of us, myself and Officer Hall, he proceeded to head in our direction, leaving that room. And at that point, he looked up and he screamed, "She killed the fucking kids."
And after he said that, where did you go?
Once he cleared himself from the door frame, we were able to look inside the room where we observed what appeared to be a child laying motionless on the floor.
And did you later learn his name was Dawson Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And how was he positioned?
He was laying on his back, kind of close to the gym bag for reference of that.
Showing you Exhibit 93 again, reference to gym bag, is that the bag to the left of the pack, the child's toy?
Yes.
And so you're saying that he was in that area when you first saw him?
Yes, he was.
And do you recall whether he was on his back or his stomach or something else?
He was on his back.
And do you recall his physical appearance?
Like I said, he was laying on his back. His head was tilted to the right-hand side. Looked at him kind of in the face area once we got closer, and his face was white, gray, lips were blue, eyes were bloodshot. Looked like blood vessels were popped in his eyes.
Did you notice any injuries to his neck?
Seeing that, my first instinct was to kind of grab his head and tilt it to the side, see if I can get a pulse. But I mean, based on my training experience from previous incidents, I knew it wasn't going to be good. So I moved the head. That's where I observed some red marks on that right-hand side.
Of the neck.
Yes.
And in that exhibit, 94, there was a yellow exercise band, correct?
Yes.
I believe in prior testimony, you may have called it a blue exercise band. Is that correct?
Yes.
But it's clearly yellow in the photo, right?
Yes, it's clearly yellow. I mean, there was,
Testing the color of the exercise band.
Right, good.
So what was your focus at the time?
the child.
And once you saw him there with these injuries, what did you do?
Based on my observations, I knew there wasn't really much I could do. So I picked the child up, went chest to chest. And as I did that, it was kind of like a mucus or a foam that leaked out of his mouth onto me. I grabbed him, went back towards the way we came down into the basement, and I headed up to the stairs where Sergeant Homestead was coming down the stairs, and I started yelling to him to get out of the way. Went back up the stairs and then into the kitchen, directly adjacent to the stairs is the front foyer, like hallway, and I went out the main door into the driveway.
And was there an ambulance in the driveway at that time?
Yes, the ambulance was backing up and had pretty much just parked, and one of the fire was walking around to the stretcher out back. So I rushed over with Dawson and I put him on the stretcher, and that's when Sergeant Homestead and fire personnel started working further on him.
What did you do next?
I went back into the house.
And why did you go back into the house?
I remember hearing something about kids and multiple, and I just went back.
And when you went back in the house, did you go to the basement?
Yes, I went back in that front door, back down to the basement, and this time I went to the left-hand side.
And when you went to the left-hand side of the basement, what did you see?
Pretty much directly in my sight was an older female laying on the ground, and then in the corner there was like a younger baby.
And when you say an older female, you're referring to that she was older than Dawson?
That's correct.
And did you later learn her name was Cora Clancy?
I did.
And did you assist in treating her?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
So when I got down to the basement, 2 fire personnel were already on scene. One was working on the baby and one was working on Cora. Communicated with them. We worked together, and I took over doing chest compressions of Cora.
And were you able to see any injuries on Cora at that time?
Yes. She had kind of the same injuries that I explained with Dawson. The pale tint, bluish lips, bloodshot eyes, blood vessels popped. But this time she also had like dried blood around her mouth.
And did you also see an area of blood near her on the floor?
Yes, there was a relatively large area of blood on the floor. Actually, when doing CPR on her, I was beside her, and that blood seeped through my pants. So I ended up moving her a little off to the side so I could position myself better.
Just showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 97, this red, brown stain on the rug. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
It's not me.
While you
It's
were
the
doing chest compressions on Cora, what was the firefighter doing?
The one that had previously been attending to Cora then went to the child that was in the corner.
And eventually, was Cora put on a stretcher and brought out?
Yes, eventually. I think the baby was brought out first, because I think they mentioned at some point they might have found like a faint pulse or something like that. So they got him out first, and then we were able to get Cora up.
So that entire time while you're in the basement, are you still giving chest compressions to Cora?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it felt like forever, to the point where I think I radioed for assistance for another officer to come down.
And did others come down to assist?
Yes, Officer Cahill came down to further assist, where I continued with chest compressions, and he used a bag valve mask to give rescue breaths.
And a bag valve mask, is that something that goes over someone's face, a mask that's attached to a bag and you squeeze it to give air?
Yes, it's an alternative breathing apparatus.
At some point, do you go back upstairs to the first floor?
Yes,
And do you encounter Patrick Clancy when you go upstairs?
yes. So when they removed Cora, myself and Officer Cahill went back upstairs, where I encountered Mr. Clancy in the kitchen.
And what was his demeanor in the kitchen?
He was still frantic, kind of in shock, still screaming and losing himself. And I think at that point, I don't know, one of us requested that we get an ambulance for him as well.
Thank you, sir. Nothing further.
Attorney Reddington?
I'm sorry, I have no questions.
All right. Thank you, sir. Lisa. Thank you.
Someone calls PJ Hussey.
Your Honor, at this point, I'm objecting, renewing my objection that I filed on the repetitious nature.
All right, if I can see it, sidebar.
Okay, so what is Kevin Reddington doing? Let's talk about that really quickly. Kevin Reddington had filed a motion earlier about sort of like the repetitious of all of the firefighter personnel, etc. He said that we don't have to call everybody. We kind of know XYZ, and he's wanting to limit the prosecution's case. So the judge said we would take it case by case, right? We'll take it case by case. And so now Kevin Reddington is again arguing that they don't need to see everybody come up and talk about the things that are happening. I mean, it's the prosecution's case. You can't tell him how to do his case. So are we going to see lots of people? We might not. So very interesting so remember, we as the John Q public at home didn't get to hear the 911 call in its entirety. I know that like Nancy Grace played like some of the portions from the dispatch and stuff. But we did just get to hear about what Patrick Clancy said. He said she killed the effing kids. And that also when and I'm not going to go back over the traumatic stuff with the children, but that when Officer Josephine went back upstairs and saw Patrick Clancy, he was frantic and he was still screaming and shaking, and they got an ambulance for him as well.
In a couple of minutes with the next witness. Okay?
Court, all rise. Jurors, closing no votes, please.
Okay, they're on a break. Hold on just a second. I don't know if they're going to further go into arguments or what they're going to do. Hold on. All right, I'm typing. I don't want you to hear me typing. All right, law lovies. Court is on a break at the moment. Maybe Lindsay Clancy needs a break. They didn't, unfortunately, they did not pan over to her. I could imagine she probably needs a break. Can you? I can't fathom. All right, so if you're just joining me, please make sure to like and subscribe to the stream, etc. Hi, my name is Missy K. I bring you law cases. Today we're covering the trial of Lindsay Clancy, day 3. It's going to be a very emotional and impactful day as the firefighters, EMTs, etc., are talking about the life-saving measures that they tried to do on the children, and perhaps maybe sort of like what the aftermath, etc. And also life-saving measures on Lindsay Clancy as well, right? So they're going to talk about all of these things together. So I also bring you other law cases, and FYI, I don't know if you saw, but breaking news in the Corey Richins case. If you know about the Corey Richins case, let me know in the chat. Put like a 1 in the chat if you know about Corey Richins. If you don't, put a 2 and we can talk about it a little bit. Corey Richins, it's a case out of Utah. She got convicted of killing her husband, Eric Richins, with 5 times the dose of fentanyl. Her lawyers stated that the judge in the case were big meanies to them, and therefore they wanted a new trial. And so they filed a motion for a new trial, and the judge in the case said, well, you're saying things about me, so I need to recuse myself. Somebody else needs to decide this. So another judge decided it, and guess what she said? She came back and said, no, Judge Mrazek, it's your jurisdiction. You're the trial judge in this case, so the case is yours. So it is going to be heard in front of Judge Mrazek. So there might be a hearing tomorrow. The Corey Richins case, we're not exactly sure, so stay tuned. But we've got other things going on as well. We've got Courtney Clenny. She is the OnlyFans model in Florida. She has an evidentiary hearing today and tomorrow. I am hoping to cover some of that tomorrow morning when Lindsay Clancy jurors are going on the jury view tomorrow. So if you didn't know that, tomorrow morning for Lindsay Clancy, the jurors are going to go to the house that you're seeing the pictures of. Obviously, it's not going to be exactly the same because it doesn't have the same furniture, it doesn't have the same layout, etc. But you can kind of get to see the spacing of things. And I guess a lot of people are going. So we have all of the jurors, that's 18 jurors. You've got the prosecution, the defense, you got the judge, you got a whole bunch of other people who are going to the jury viewing. It's a lot of people in this person's home. But I'm sure they're going to like section people here and there because, 30 people can't be in one area at the same time. So I'm sure they'll probably section people, what have you. So how long is that going to be? I don't know. They're in Plymouth Court right now. I don't know how far that is from Duxbury. Probably not too far. But just remember, they're going to have to get a bus, and they're going to have to bus people and shuttle people. So I would say probably a couple of hours, right? 2 hours maybe. Maybe a little bit more. So while we're waiting for them to come in back because they're going to come back, and whatever time they come back and what have you, in the meantime, I have something to fill the space. We'll have to see if we can go over the evidentiary hearing of Lindsay Clancy, and if not, we have some other things to cover. So just if you haven't liked my spaces, I am on X. Same channel name, Legalese123, Facebook, and Instagram. My Instagram is a little bit different, but go to my Facebook page, Legalese123, and you'll see all of the spaces where I'm at. I do post a whole bunch of stuff on Facebook and X. Facebook primarily, I post all of the pictures that are given out through trial. I post any motions. By the way, Kevin Reddington has posted a couple of motions. Remember that? Kevin Reddington doesn't want them to talk about all of these people. They also don't want to he wants the prosecution said some things about Patrick Clancy and also their anniversary, and he wants those things stricken from the record. I don't know if they were heard because we haven't seen any of their motions being argued. I don't know if it's because the court, I don't know if the feed just didn't tell us, but we'll see. So as you may know, Kevin Reddington made a whole bunch of motions yesterday asking for things to be changed up. They're also kind of fighting over who was on the laptop and searching for uh places or about suicide in August. Prosecution is honing in that it was her, that somebody logged into her Facebook and then went on these searches. And also at the time, Patrick Clancy was searching for a singer, Tom. Is it Tom? Oh, I don't have it. Tom Hall or Tom something like that, who was a singer who he unalived himself, and he was listening to his music, and it happened to be the same day. So, did Patrick Clancy inadvertently, through his searches and stuff, accidentally click on a link to sites, or was it because the prosecution says it was early in the morning that this was viewed and that Patrick Clancy was on in the evening? So, what do I always say? Well, it's going to be a battle of the experts, right? Let's bring in a digital forensic expert who downloaded all of the information off of the computer to see who Googled what, when, and how, right? And as we have learned through many, many, many trials, especially the Brendan Banfield case. Let me know if you know about Brendan Banfield. Brendan Banfield, as you may know, was an FBI investigator. He worked for the Department of Internal Revenue. I'm just going to make myself bigger. Don't worry, I'm watching. You're not missing anything. Court's on a break. Brendan Banfield was worked for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. He was in the financial crimes area. He had a gun and a badge. Remember, he was the one that lured Joe Ryan over to the house. And what was the most controversial part of that case was who was doing what. Everything was done on Christine Banfield's account on her laptop. The prosecution says it was Brendan Banfield and his au pair, Juliana Margulies. They two were the ones that every time Christine, because the laptop would go with Christine. By the way, Christine Banfield was also a nurse, and I think she also had benzodiazepine in her system, but I have to double check that. She had a laptop that she would take with her to work, and when she would come home, the laptop was in her backpack. When she would get home, that is when Brendan and Juliana would get on the laptop. They made this FetLife account on her laptop to lure a person, Joe Ryan, to come to the house to have this fantasy grape situation. And Joe Ryan had no idea what was going to happen. Christina Banfield had no idea what was going to happen. But the controversial part of the case was who was the one that was manipulating her devices? Was it her? Was it the husband? Was it the au pair? Because every time the laptop was manipulated, she was home. Because the laptop was always with her, but when she came home, she just like dropped it by the door. They had 3 levels. They had a basement, mid-level, and then a bedroom. And so when she would get home at night, she'd be upstairs in her bedroom. She's on her phone. So her phone would show that she's on her phone as well as the laptop. Now, we all know I'm sitting here at my desktop and I'm on my phone at the same time sometimes. But they're saying that that wasn't the case, that it was actually Brendan and Juliana who were manipulating her devices unknown to her. But that was a big part of the trial, was who was manipulating what. And my point is that, yes, the devices are being manipulated, but unless you have like a camera, like you're seeing me right now manipulating my device, you can't tell 100% who's behind the screen, who's manipulating the screen, right? They can't tell 100%. But you can make some inferences based upon the user and the pattern, because the FetLife account was never, ever, ever used when Christine Banfield was at work. And if you're trying to meet up with somebody you're trying to have this, affair, when would you do it? When would you do it? You'd probably do it when you're not home with your spouse, right? You'd probably do it when you're away from them, So just the way the whole thing was situated, it was more likely than not that it was Brendan and Juliana versus Christine. So that's why I say who's doing what, etc. And so they said that somebody logged on to Lindsay Clancy's Facebook page. So I want to know, because when I open up, because this is my computer, this is mine. This is not my children's, this is not my husband's, this is mine. And when I open up my browsers, some of my things just automatically load, right? So is it something that automatically loaded on his computer, or was she have to physically go in there, log on to Facebook, and then type her password and stuff? Those are the things that I want to know. Were those keystrokes put into it, or was it automatically brought up? That kind of gives you sort of a little bit more context as to who was manipulating the computer at that time. Because Patrick Clancy was just like, I don't go on our Facebook, so that wasn't me. So that's part of one of the controversies in reference to who Googled that. And that was in August. So if we're kind of putting together a little timeline of Lindsay Clancy and Lindsay Clancy's situation, if by chance she did in August make this Google search about unaliving herself, or how to go about doing that, you have to be careful about what you say. Then that might be a sort of a telltale sign that she was thinking about it in August, because Patrick Clancy stated that she started having issues in September, as I think when they went to the wedding, and that is when she told him that she was thinking about taking this medication, or that she was taking the medication, one of the two. And then September rolls around, October rolls around, nothing's really bad happening then. November, some things were happening, but in December is when it got really bad. And that is when she was taking the Seroquel. So I am just waiting to see from the experts who are going to come in and talk about the drugs, the interactions, what was she taking, and what was interacting potentially with what, how long things have to be in your system. Because apparently when she had gone in January to the McClellan in Rhode Island, she went there for a 5-day stint, and they said that she was weaned off. That's what the prosecution said. She was weaned off of those medications, so she shouldn't be having any issues, and therefore shouldn't have harmed her children. That's what they're saying. So I don't know if you heard me earlier this morning. The court's still on a break. I'm watching it here. I don't know if you heard me this morning, but I was also stating that so far the prosecution is basically saying that a woman who is capable of making phone calls, going to doctor's appointments, going to a water park on a slide, and going to manipulate things at a museum, and a woman who takes very copious notes they have intent to harm other people, and that she didn't have a mental break, because here she's mentally fine and stable, and then here she's not. But the copious notes is that she's controlling. And I talked a little bit about that. So speaking of notes, I mean, look at this. You want to here's my, I don't know if you can see this, but here's my grocery list that I wrote down. That's not necessarily copious notes, but I wrote myself a journal. Oh, you can't see it. Maybe if I go back like that. Here's my journal. I'm not journaling anymore. Now I'm using it for my notes for today. But wow. All right. Make sure to like and subscribe, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Court is on a break at the moment. We're only 2 witnesses in. If we continue like this, we're not gonna. This is gonna be a very long trial. Let me know if you got any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, ideas. Tell me where you're coming in from. What's going on with you? So the Corey Richins thing is a big thing. It was on my list. I haven't completed that just yet. I shared my list with you yesterday about all of the cases and stuff that I'm covering, and kind of what we were anticipating as far as things that we're waiting for answers on. And the Corey Richins was a very hot topic. Will Corey Richins get a new trial? Well, they didn't want to argue in front of Judge Mrazek because Judge Mrazek had said some things to the defense team in reference to, I thought, and if you let me know if you watched the Corey Richins trial, Judge Mrazek, I thought, was a very patient, diligent, empathetic judge, and he tried very hard to be fair to both sides. And he was trying to help the defense at one point in time. And he's like, okay, are you sure you want to do this? Because if you do this, then it's going to open the door to something else. And just kind of like not necessarily doing their job for them, but doing their job for them, helping them to navigate the ways of, questioning witnesses and stuff. And the things didn't go their way on the defense. And so if things don't go your way, you can't cry discrimination, right? They're saying that the judge had made statements, comments, motions with his face and stuff that was disparaging towards the defense when the jury was present, and therefore they should get a new trial. That's what they were saying. And if you didn't see that coverage, you can go to my Facebook page at Legalese123 and go under Corey Richins, and you can see I went over that motion that Corey Richins' defense team wants a new trial, right? And I've talked about this before, that when you make these motions after the case is over and you make a motion or you appeal or whatever you do in the process, it always goes back to the trial court judge. It always goes back to that person if they're available to hear the case. So it's supposed to go back to Judge Mrazek to see whether or not you get a new trial. And if you're calling the judge biased, then should that judge hear your argument as to why they think that you were biased, and then you're like, well, okay, now I can't be biased, right? Does that affect the judge? So Judge Mrazek said, okay, I'm going to take myself out of this equation. I'm going to let another judge decide on this. So, I'm passing this off, which ethically is great. We wish that more judges were like Judge Mrazek, to be like, nope, not me. I'm not it. And recuse themselves, right? I mean, we talk about Karen Reed, Judge Beverly Cannoni. Should she have recused herself? The answer is yes. there were a lot of things, like her brother had represented Christopher Albert in a case that he had. Just, like there was so many, so it goes back to, like there's, what is it, 5 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? Everybody's related to Kevin Bacon via 5 different people, and there you are, you're related to Kevin Bacon, or you have some association with Kevin Bacon, right? And that's kind of the way it was with Judge Cannoni. But some of these were like 2 steps away to Judge Cannoni. But she didn't recuse herself. She's like, nope, I can be fair and impartial, and here we go. And we know that there were a couple of times that she was like, you are not fair and impartial. But we'll set that aside.
Back to the trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present and the 18 jurors.
All right. Commonwealth, ready to call your next witness?
Yes, Commonwealth calls PJ Hussey.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony in the evidence you shall give to the court and the jury
All right, witness number 5 for the prosecution.
Watch your step, please.
All right, good morning, sir.
If I may?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the record
PJ Hussey, Hussey,
and your date of birth?
5/5/1963.
Where do you work?
Duxbury Fire Department,
And how long have you been a firefighter?
32 years.
Are you also a paramedic?
Yes.
What's the difference between an EMT and a paramedic?
Paramedic has advanced life-saving skills, intubation, and medicine we can use on the patients.
And is there a certain type of training that you have to have as a paramedic?
Yes, every 2 years.
And to first qualify as a paramedic, what do you have to do?
There's a paramedic class that you take, upwards of 2 years.
So you take that paramedic class. Is there a test you have to take at the end?
A state test, yep.
And once you pass that state test and become a paramedic, you have to do continuing education. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And did you take that initial training, pass that initial test, and then pass all subsequent training to be a paramedic?
Yes.
And how long have you been a paramedic?
About 17 years.
What is your current role with the Duxbury Fire Department?
I'm a captain, which is considered a shift commander.
And in January of 2023, were you in that same role?
Yes.
What does a shift commander do?
Oversees the operations of the town as far as firefighting and medical services.
How many fire departments, or stations rather, how many stations does Duxbury Fire Department have?
Duxbury has 2.
And how far apart are they?
About 10 minutes apart.
And are they staffed differently from
Yes.
each other?
Yeah.
And how are they staffed?
At the central station, there's a captain and usually 3, and the other station, there's 2, just 2 firefighters.
And for Duxbury, are all the firefighters that work for Duxbury Fire Department also paramedics?
Not all. We have 2 EMTs.
Now,
The rest are medics.
I'm sorry?
The rest are medics.
And when you say medics, you're talking about paramedics?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. So directing your attention to January 24th, 2023, were you working that day?
Yes.
And what shift were you working?
My own shift, my group, shift 1.
And what is shift 1?
It's just we have 4 shifts, and I'm just group 1, shift 1.
Is there a certain time that spans? Time of day?
No, 24-hour shifts, 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock the next morning.
Okay, so you were working 8 o'clock in the morning on January 24th,
Yes,
and your shift would end 8 o'clock in the morning on January 25th?
correct.
And were you working in that capacity as a shift commander on the 24th?
Yes.
Now, do you recall a call coming in shortly after 6 p.m. Dispatching you to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes,
And did you respond to that scene?
we did.
And how many vehicles and personnel responded?
My car, the shift commander car, ambulance 1, and engine number 2.
And what was the personnel in each of those vehicles? Not names necessarily, but how many people?
We put, usually it's 2 in the ambulance, but because of the severity of the call when it first came in, we put 3 people in the ambulance, a driver plus 2 medics in the ambulance, and then 2 people two firefighter medics in the engine from the other station.
So that would be 6 people in total?
6 total.
And did you have anyone from the second station respond initially?
We all came at the same time. We all got dispatched at the same time.
So would that have been 6 people total from both stations or 6 people from the central station?
6 people total from both.
And when you arrived on scene, what did you see upon arrival?
There's a couple of police cruisers that were there already, just beat us in. And then we had to go up back to where the patient was located.
And when you refer to the patient that was out back, was that Lindsay Clancy?
Yes,
And did you head to the backyard?
yes,
And did you see her on the ground?
I did.
And were you personally treating her, or was it the other paramedics that
The
were
other
doing?
paramedics were treating her.
Okay.
Yep.
And what were you doing?
Just supervising the call, just make sure things are handled appropriately as a shift commander.
Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 37. Do you see the area where you were in the backyard that night on the screen?
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind standing up and just pointing where you were.
Patient was approximately right here. I was over here in this area here.
And if the record reflects, you pointed to the patient being to the right of the metal window well, and you were standing to the left of the window well, is that correct?
Yeah, she was right below this window, so someplace she was right in this area.
Okay.
And I was just a little bit further over.
And when you said right below this window, you're pointing to the far right second story window?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
At some point in time while you were standing there, did you hear a loud noise?
I heard a scream.
And when you heard the scream, could you tell where it was coming from?
It sounded like it was coming from the basement.
And did you look anywhere in particular?
Yeah, I was able to look through the basement window and able to see a male person downstairs.
And when you say the basement window, are you referring to that first?
Yes.
Metal?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
that was in Exhibit 37. Just showing you, again on the screen here, what's been marked as Exhibit 50. This window here on the right, does that fairly represent the window that you looked through and could see down into that
Yes.
basement office?
Yeah.
And was the light on in the basement office when you
A
looked in?
light was on, yes.
And what did you see when you looked in the window?
After I heard the scream, I saw a older male gentleman, now knowing it was Patrick Clancy, unwrapping something from a child's head.
And when you saw the male unwrapping something, can you demonstrate the motion that they were doing?
Yeah, the child was on the ground. The head was towards the window, so the head was towards the back of the house, and he picked the child up, and he was in a circular motion, taking something off the head, around the neck.
And could you see the child's face?
Yes,
And what observations did you make of the child's face?
the head was blue.
And did you later learn that child was Dawson Clancy?
Yes.
At that point, what did you do?
Because of the severity of Miss Clancy on the ground, and now we have another patient, I put a all call in, which is a recall of Duxbury personnel, all Duxbury personnel, if they're available, to come back to the town to help out for when I need help on the scene. And they also need help in the town to cover the town while I'm busy at this scene. And I also requested a mutual aid ambulance to respond to the scene.
Because at that time, there was only one ambulance that was responsible.
One ambulance for Miss Clancy, yes. And then I called another, seeing the next patient, I called another ambulance in.
Okay. And what is mutual aid?
Mutual aid is it's a shared system that all the towns use. That if we get busy or busy with calls, we're able to call help in from surrounding towns to give us a hand, whether it be fire related or medical related.
Does Duxbury only have one ambulance?
We have 3.
3, but you only had one staff that night?
Yes.
Okay, so you call in for an additional ambulance. At some point in time, do you learn that there are two other patients,
Yes.
Cora Clancy and Callan Clancy.
Yes.
At that point in time, do you have to do anything to call in more assistance?
Well, the recall for Duxbury personnel was already put in, so I called 2 more ambulances at that point.
And the scene that night, discovering another victim, was that a chaotic scene?
It turned very chaotic very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was it a situation where people would start treating a patient, but then have to move on to something else and someone would take over?
Sort of. I had 4, so I had myself as a shift commander. I had an EMT with me, but there's also 4 paramedics. So the way it ended up working, all the initial paramedics were with Miss Clancy in the beginning. And then when we found the other patients, we left a paramedic with Miss Clancy, a paramedic with Dawson, and then the 2 paramedics were with the 2 other kids in the other room.
And did someone eventually also have to be with Patrick Clancy?
Eventually, yes. Yeah, but at the time, there was nobody with him in the beginning.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Okay. All right, counsel?
No questions. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That was nice, quick. You got the picture. He's the supervisor. He gave the overall thing.
Attorney Buckingham.
Oh, I like her bow.
Nudd as its next witness, please.
Oh, do we get to hear Miss Buckingham now? The other prosecuting attorney was Miss Sprague. Oh boy. When I say oh boy, I'm wondering if this is like a doctor, like coroner. I'm not sure. Can't tell.
All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Seems to be an older
Very
gentleman,
quiet.
so
Yes,
that's
please, counsel.
Thank
why I
you.
went that way.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Number
Could you please
6.
tell the jurors your first and last name?
My first name is Loring, Loring. My last name is Nudd, Nudd.
And do you have a nickname that you go by?
I do.
What's that?
Everybody knows me as Chuck.
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 And do you work, sir?
I do.
What do you do for work?
So I'm a firefighter EMT with the Duxbury Fire Department.
Okay, he's a firefighter.
Was at that time. I am now retired.
Okay, so when did you retire?
So I retired a year ago.
A year ago? And so how long had you been working with Duxbury Fire before your retirement?
A little over 30 years.
30. And can you explain what your role was as a Duxbury firefighter?
So if I was an EMT, which 80% of our calls are probably that related. So I would assist a paramedic, or I would drive the ambulance, or whatever was necessary at the time. And then we were also did fire suppression, and we were all trained in that and went to the academy and all that.
Okay, and can you tell us what the difference is between an EMT and a paramedic?
So a paramedic requires another year or 2 of training, and they're able to prescribe meds. I mean, not prescribe meds, excuse me. Give meds that they have according to what they need to do. They can also read the monitor that shows rhythms in the heart and what have you.
Is it fair to say that as an EMT, you're trained in basic life-saving techniques,
Correct.
while a paramedic is advanced life-saving techniques?
Correct.
And so at Duxbury Fire Department, is it also fair to say that each and every firefighter has that dual role of either being an EMT, a paramedic, and a firefighter?
Yes, some are. There might be one EMT, just a basic, where most of them are the medics but we're all firefighters too.
Okay. And in the town of Duxbury, does the town itself have its own ambulances
Yes.
in addition to the fire engines?
Yes.
And there's also ladder trucks, correct?
Correct.
Now, when you were working as a Duxbury firefighter, what was the schedule? How did you work your shifts?
So we work 24-hour shifts.
And then how many days on and how many days off?
So we'd have 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, and 5 off.
And a 24-hour shift, when did it start and end?
It was 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock the next morning.
So if I direct your attention to January 24th of 2023, you were still working for the Duxbury Fire Department then, correct?
Correct.
And were you on a 24-hour shift that day?
I was.
At some point during the day, were you given kind of what your assignment was for that shift?
Yes.
What was your assignment?
So that day, I mean, we all kind of float around a little bit, but we had a newer member that had made progress. He was an EMT and then made it to paramedic. So I was kind of what they called the backup guy. So I would do whatever fill-in needed to be done, and I would assist with them if necessary.
Okay, and so were you kind of assigned to the ambulance at the central station as that backup person?
I was.
And the person that you identified was kind of the newer employee. What was his name?
Paramedic Doherty.
And that would be Daniel Doherty?
Daniel Doherty, yeah.
And who was the other Duxbury firefighter that was assigned to the ambulance that shift?
It would have been paramedic Kevin Heath.
So at approximately 6 o'clock or just after 6 p.m., were you advised of a dispatch to a residence in the town of Duxbury?
Yes.
And where was that dispatch going to take you?
So it was going to take us to Summer Street.
And so you and firefighter Heath and firefighter Doherty, you all get in the ambulance?
Correct.
And do you go to 47 Summer Street?
We do.
Who was in the ambulance? Who was assigned as kind of the driver and the tech?
So at that time, because we had heard, you know, what kind of call we had an idea of what call we were going to. The two medics sat up front and were able to converse while I sat in the back and again was that backup guy, more or less.
Okay. And as far as the nature of the call that you believed you were coming into, is it fair to say that the initial call had to deal with a female that had gone out the window, possibly a suicide?
Yeah, as I remember, it was a second floor fall.
At the time that you were dispatched to that location, did you know that there was any pediatric patients or children involved?
No.
Now, approximately how long did it take to get from the station, Central Station, to 47 Summer Street, if you recall?
I'm going to say 4 to 5 minutes.
And when you arrived on scene, were there already other emergency personnel on scene?
There were.
Were you the first ambulance on scene?
We were.
How about fire trucks? Were there any other fire trucks from Duxbury?
The fire truck, you could hear it in the background, but it wasn't there yet.
So is it fair to say that there were some Duxbury police cruisers that had arrived just ahead of you?
Correct.
Where did you go with the ambulance when you got to that address of 47 Summer Street?
So as we were pulling up, I could hear the two guys up front say, the cruisers are in the way of the driveway. So I said, okay, you guys take the call, meaning get out of the car and get out of the truck and get started, and I'll take care of the truck.
Okay. And so when you come to the address, are you able to at least pull into the driveway at some point?
Not at that point. Because I was in the back, I switched to the driver's seat. And at that time, I saw an officer coming and he was getting ready to move the vehicle that was in our way so that I could back in.
And so were you able to then back the ambulance into the driveway?
I was.
And were there other vehicles that were not emergency personnel vehicles in the driveway?
There might have been some of their vehicles, but there might have been, but I don't really. I had enough room to put my vehicle there and that's all that mattered.
Okay, so when you backed the ambulance in, firefighter Heath and firefighter Doherty, what did they do?
They had already jumped out. Grabbed the gear and taken off for the back of the house.
Once you got the ambulance secured in the driveway, what did you do?
So assuming that they were going to need a stretcher, I started pulling a stretcher out of the back of the ambulance.
And again, you said you backed the ambulance in?
Correct.
As you were pulling the stretcher out of the back of the ambulance, did you observe somebody coming from the house?
Yes.
What did you see?
One of the police officers was carrying a child.
And so what did you do when you saw him carrying the child out of the house?
So at that point, the stretcher was almost out of the vehicle. And I said, over here. And he placed him on the stretcher.
Were you able to make observations of the child as he's being placed on the stretcher?
I was.
What did he look like?
So his face was blue. He had marks around his neck, and his body was pale.
And so once the officer, or first off, was the officer somebody you knew from Duxbury?
Correct. It was Officer Homestead.
Okay. And once the child was placed on the stretcher, what did you do after you made that initial observations of him?
So we rolled it right inside so he could start doing CPR.
Now, as an EMT, what is the first thing you generally do when you're observing a patient or assessing a patient?
So you always look for response and you go for airway.
And fair to say there's kind of what they call the ABCs.
Correct.
Can you tell the jurors what that means?
So it's airway, breathing, circulation.
And in this circumstance, were you able to observe the child breathing on his own?
No.
How about, were you able to secure an airway for him?
Not at that time. We were still doing the preliminary.
And how about circulation or pulse or cardiac activity? Were you able to determine any of that upon your initial assessment of him?
At that point, no.
Now, after you are in the back of the ambulance, do other EMTs or other paramedics come and assist you with this child?
Yes. So when the patient was getting rolled in, I also yelled out to my captain, hoping that he was going to hear me, that I needed a medic in my truck because I needed him to know that there was someone in my truck. And I'm assuming someone heard me, and they then directed a medic to my truck once one appeared.
Okay. And so the medic that came to the truck, was that Keith Nettie?
Yes.
And that was not the original person who went to the scene with you in the ambulance, was it?
Correct.
And what happened when you had the child in the back of the ambulance? What did you guys do to try to tend to him?
So we were doing CPR, and then there was he wanted to check the monitor. So we got the monitor out.
And with the monitor, what was the monitor supposed to be looking for?
Heart rhythm.
Okay. And so do you have to kind of hook that up to the patient in order to assess whether there's any activity?
Correct.
And those monitors that you have in your equipment, do they do anything more than just check for heart rate?
The paramedic can then look and see what kind of, not just a heart rate, but a rhythm. And then
if there is not a rhythm, does that machine help you to do anything to try to restart somebody's heart?
With a rhythm, with the rhythm that they gave us, they said, we can disconnect it, because they were concerned they needed the monitor downstairs too, or elsewhere.
And is it fair to say that at that point you're assisting the paramedic with their assessment and running that equipment and checking the monitor?
No, I'll allow it, but let's kind of move on.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Re-ask that.
Are you assisting the paramedic at that point to treat the child in the ambulance? At some point, do you leave the ambulance?
I do.
And where do you go after you leave the ambulance?
I bring the monitor down to the basement.
Are the other paramedics and the other responders still working on the child?
Correct.
And
Not me. It's the feed.
Basement.
Because my cap, they said they needed equipment in the basement.
When
There were.
you
Sorry.
observations of those children?
Not really. I mean, they weren't crying.
And fair to say they were being treated by others.
Correct.
And so once you dropped off that equipment, did you go back outside?
I did.
And what ultimately was your role at the end of this call? What were you asked to do?
I was asked to drive.
So the ambulance that responded from Duxbury, that's ambulance number one,
Correct.
ambulance one. Did you drive that ambulance to a hospital?
Correct.
Which hospital was that?
I forget if it was the Jordan or the BI now, but it's the Plymouth Hospital.
Here in Plymouth?
Correct.
And that was with Dawson Clancy in the back, correct?
Correct.
No further questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Attorney Reddington?
No questions. Enjoy your retirement.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Attorney Reddington. All right, that was number 6. That was a little painful, not gonna lie.
Attorney Buckingham?
She has some repetitive questions that we already knew the answers to.
Same objection.
Right, same objection. This is cumulative and repetitive. They don't have to ask. We already know now what the difference between EMT and a paramedic is. We know that. We approximately know how many people were on scene.
Good morning. Just also that the testimony in the evidence is submitted to the court and the jury
But this is Mrs. Buckingham's first opportunity up, so we'll give her some leeway.
All right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right, counsel.
Thank you.
And number 7.
Morning.
Good morning.
Could you please tell the jurors your first and last name, please?
First name is Keith. Last name is Nettie, N-E-T-T-E.
And where do you work, sir?
I work for the Duxbury Fire Department.
How long have you been with the Duxbury Fire Department?
About 17 years.
And currently working for the Duxbury Fire Department, what is your role? What do you do there?
Right now, I'm a captain, shift commander.
And are you a firefighter as well as a trained paramedic?
Yes.
At Duxbury Fire, you all work 24-hour shifts?
Correct.
If I draw your attention to January 24th, 2023, do you recall working a 24-hour shift that day?
I was at home.
Okay. And so what was the shift that you were working that week, if you remember?
I believe I worked maybe 2 days prior. I don't really remember.
Okay. So you were on a day off?
Yes, correct.
And how was it that you ended up being involved in the call at 47 Summer Street on January 24th?
We were recalled from via a pager and text message that there was an incident going on and that we were to respond.
So can you explain to us how that works?
So a tone goes off through dispatch that sends off a pager at our houses that alerts us. Then we also get text messages about the incident and then respond either to the station or to the scene, whichever they request.
As a Duxbury firefighter, are part of your responsibilities to respond to these recalls?
Yes.
Is it a voluntary thing?
Yes.
So if you were indisposed or unavailable when a call went out or tone went out, would you be expected to respond to the scene?
No.
But in this case, on January 24th, just after 6 p.m., you heard that call go out, correct?
Correct.
And so then what did you do when you heard the call?
I drove to the scene in my personal truck.
When you got to the scene, what did you see?
I saw police and fire vehicles. And then I walked up the driveway and walked into the back of the ambulance.
Now, when you arrived and saw police, that was Duxbury Police?
Correct.
And the fire personnel that was on scene, who was on scene, if you remember?
I only saw 2 people on scene initially. That was Kevin Heath and Sergeant Homestead.
Okay. And Sergeant Homestead is a Duxbury officer?
Correct.
Now, was there a Duxbury ambulance in the driveway when you pulled up?
Yes.
And before even getting past that ambulance, were you asked to assist?
Yes.
What did you see when you came to the back of that ambulance?
I saw an officer, Sergeant Homestead, and Kevin Heath doing CPR on a child.
Had you seen how the child ended up in the ambulance, or did you come after?
I came after.
Did you then help take over with treating that child in the back of the ambulance?
Yes.
What was your initial observation of the patient? What did he look like?
Blue, white, non-responsive, not breathing, no pulse.
And this particular patient, did you come to learn him to be the child named Dawson Clancy?
Yes.
And he was approximately 3 years old?
Yes.
What kind of treatment did you and the paramedic Heath offer to Dawson in the back of the ambulance? What did you do?
We tried to start an IV, but then we also started an IO, which is kind of like an IV. Tried intubation, which is a advanced airway, medications, and continued CPR.
So an IV, that's just putting a needle into somebody and trying to pump fluids in medicine, correct?
Correct.
Tell us what an IO is.
An IO is interosseous, which is basically into the bone marrow on the lower leg.
So what do you do to try to enter an IO?
Usually we have a drill, but we had a manual one instead.
So what do you do with the manual drill to enter the IO?
You just twist and then it goes into the bone.
And what bone do you attempt to do this in? And were you able to enter that IO into Dawson?
Yes.
What is the purpose of the IO versus the IV?
If the patient has difficult access, which pediatrics do.
And in this circumstance, what kinds of medication were you trying to deliver through the IO to Dawson?
Epinephrine.
What's the purpose of epinephrine?
Basically kind of helps to restart the heart.
And at this point, he had no heart activity?
Correct.
You also mentioned attempts to intubate. Can you tell us what that means?
So intubation is an advanced airway where you put a tube into the airway to secure it to deliver high flow oxygen.
Were you able to intubate Dawson?
Yes, Kevin Heath did.
And what do you do when you enter the tool to intubate?
You go into the mouth and you do a motion of pulling up to see the vocal cords so you can pass the tube through.
And what do you attach to the tube to try to increase breath?
Oxygen and BVM, which is basically you're squeezing a bag.
So BVM would stand for bag valve mask?
Correct.
While you were treating Dawson and doing the airway, intubating him, giving him the medicines, were you able to observe anything about the area of his neck?
Yes.
What did you observe about his neck?
Dark red marks around his neck.
Now, all of this is happening while you are in the back of the ambulance with firefighter Heath, correct?
Correct.
And do you recall another Duxbury officer being present, Dan Doherty?
Yes.
Eventually, was that ambulance then sent to the local hospital?
Yes.
Which hospital did you guys go to?
BI Plymouth.
On the ride to the hospital, did you ever get a pulse for Dawson?
No.
Were you ever able to resume breathing using that method with the bag valve mask?
No.
The efforts to give him the medication, the epinephrine, did it ever do anything to start his heart?
No.
When you arrived at the Beth Israel Hospital emergency department, tell us how you transferred the care of the patient.
We wheeled the stretcher in. We went into the first room, which is trauma 1 and trauma 2. We moved the patient over to their bed and then transferred care.
While you were at the emergency department at Beth Israel, did you see another child from that same home come in?
I did.
And what department brought them in? What fire department?
Marshfield.
Did you do anything to assist Marshfield when they came through the emergency department?
I assisted in compressions when they were getting the child out of the ambulance.
And is that something that is ongoing during when you're trying to transfer care to the emergency staff?
Yes.
Being the father of the children at the emergency department that evening when you were there?
I did.
And you came in Dr. Clancy?
Correct. And yeah, just basically visually upset.
Did you do anything yourself to assist him when he was there?
I assisted to get a chair in case he needed to sit down.
And was that before or after the children had been declared?
I believe it was after.
Thank you.
All right. Attorney Reddington?
I have no questions. Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's not me. Live feeds are a gift to us at home as the home jurors.
Same objection. for the record.
So I'm sorry if we had some Zoom room, maybe it wouldn't be so clunky, but we're watching it in real time. So, all right, we are on number 8. And you might be asking, why do we have to hear from each one of these? Well, each one of these people had a different experience with each child. Remember, there are 3 children. Each one of those had a separate people plus Lindsay herself.
All right,
So
good morning, sir.
Morning.
Yes, counsel.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Could you please tell the jury your first and last name?
Patrick Dwyer,
Can you please spell your last name for the record?
DWYER.
And how are you employed, sir?
I'm a firefighter paramedic at the Duxbury Fire Department.
And in what capacity are you a firefighter or paramedic? Do you have any supervisory roles?
No, I'm not a supervisor at the department.
Now, in your role as a firefighter and a paramedic, did you receive training for those roles?
Yes.
And how long have you worked for the Duxbury Fire Department?
It's in my 8th year right now.
I'm going to draw your attention to January 24th of 2023. Do you recall working that day?
Yes.
Were you on a 24-hour shift?
Yes.
And so that would be an 8 a.m. to 8 a.m., correct?
Correct.
At approximately 6 o'clock or just after 6 p.m., were you dispatched to 47 Summer Street?
Yes.
What was your assignment that day on shift?
I was working on the engine out of our Station 2
Where is Station 2 located in the town of Duxbury?
on Franklin Street.
When the dispatch came into 47 Summer Street, do you know approximately how long it took you to get from Station 2 to the location?
A few minutes.
Who was working with you at Station 2 that day?
Jennifer Stratton.
What were each of your designated roles?
I believe Jen was driving the engine and I was in the officer's seat.
Now, at Station 2 in Duxbury, is it normal for just 2 of you to be on shift at that station at any given time?
Yes, correct.
And fair to say there are other firefighters and paramedics that are on staff at the central station, correct?
Correct.
And in this dispatch, you at Station 2 on the engine were dispatched to 47 Summer Street, correct?
That's correct.
When you received the dispatch, did you have any information that there had been children involved?
No, we did not.
When you got to the scene, what did you see?
When we got there, it was dark out. We started walking towards the house. And the other firefighters were there before us. Then we were directed to go to the basement.
Before going to the basement, were you directed towards the outside of the house and then redirected to the basement?
We were walking towards the backyard. So I believe that's where the first person was located. So we were kind of making our way back there.
So I'm just going to show you what's been previously marked as exhibit number 34. Can you see it on the screen next to you?
Yes.
And so would this be 47 Summer Street?
Yes.
And fair to say you were on your way to the backyard on the left side when you were redirected?
Yes.
Did you ever make it into the backyard?
We went through the backyard to go into the residence.
But you were directed to the basement, right?
Yes.
If you could take a look at that screen again, I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit 38. Can you see over here sliding glass doors?
Yes.
Is that where you entered the house?
Yes.
You indicated that you also went to the basement, correct?
Correct.
When you got into the house and went down into the basement, which side did you go to at the bottom of the stairs, the right or the left?
We went down to the left.
What did you observe when you went down into the basement?
We saw 2 children on the ground and the father sitting on the couch next to them.
So again, just going to show you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 95. Is that fair to be the left side
Yes.
basement? And Exhibit 96. Where did you see the father?
He was sitting on a couch or something in the area. Not sure exactly which one.
Did you also observe the children on the floor?
Yes.
How many children?
2.
What did you do when you observed the children?
We started CPR. They were in cardiac arrest.
Okay, and so which child did you work on?
The 5-year-old girl
Where was she located?
on the floor in that room.
So as far as looking at exhibit number 96, does that depict the general area where you saw the 5-year-old child?
Yes.
Where did you treat her? Where did you see her?
Right in that area. I can't remember exactly where it was.
In this photograph of exhibit number 96, do you see a lot of equipment?
Yes.
And I'm just going to show you exhibit 101 too, with some more equipment. Do you see all that equipment there?
Yes.
Is that equipment that was used to treat the 5-year-old child?
Yes.
Did you learn her name to later be Cora Clancy?
Yes.
While you were assisting or working with Cora, what was Jen Stratton doing, your partner?
She was with the other child.
Do you recall where the other child was in relation to Cora?
They're kind of right next to each other.
So again, showing you exhibit number 96, if you look to the middle of the photograph, there's a red spot on the floor. Is that a fair place where Cora was?
Yes.
And would the other child, the younger infant, was he closer to the couch or the bed area, or was he in a different location in the basement?
Probably more towards this side, I would say, if I can remember.
When you say this side,
Like-
what do you see in the picture to depict where?
Probably closer to the cardiac monitor.
Okay, and can you tell us which is the cardiac monitor? Is it here at the bottom?
Yes, that piece of equipment right there.
And again, in exhibit 101, can you see the cardiac monitor a little better?
Yes.
Where is it in this photograph?
Right there.
Do you mind just getting up and pointing to it on the screen? So we're talking about this black bag that is sort of off center of the photograph next to a blue bag. Is that fair?
Sorry, what was the question?
I'm just trying to locate it on the picture for the record. So you pointed to a black bag that's kind of off center in this photograph, correct?
This is a cardiac monitor.
Okay, thank you. When you started to treat Cora, what were your observations of her when you came upon her?
I noticed she kind of looked like she had some burst blood vessels around her eyes.
Did you make any observations of the color of her skin?
It was kind of pale, bluish.
When you approach the patient, what's the first thing that you do to assess them?
I check for breathing, check for a pulse.
Did she have a pulse?
No,
Was she breathing?
no.
And when you're doing those things, are you able to make observations of the area around their face, like their nose and their mouth?
Yes.
In this circumstance with Cora, did you notice anything around her mouth?
Around her mouth? Not that I can recall.
When you are trying to assess her breathing, is there anything you do to try to resuscitate somebody or get them to breathe?
Yes, we would use a bag valve mask to help them breathe.
Did you do that for Cora?
Eventually, when we got the equipment down there, yes.
And were you able to use that device and get her to breathe on her own?
No.
And while you're utilizing that bag valve mask, fair to say you're in close contact and making observations of the patient's face and mouth, correct?
Yes.
And you indicated that you're not sure if you recalled seeing anything around her mouth.
Nothing particularly that I can think of.
If I may approach.
What's around her mouth? She asked this question twice. He couldn't recall it.
9, and if you could read that 17 through 19 to yourself. Does that refresh your memory?
Yes.
What did you observe in or around Cora's mouth?
That she did have some blood in her mouth.
Right, dried blood.
Did eventually other emergency staff come down and help you with rendering aid on Cora?
Yes.
And fair to say, one of the things that you do is maintain compressions and CPR.
Yes.
And can you do that by yourself, or do you often have to have somebody help?
Well, we usually have multiple people working.
And in this circumstance, with the treatment of Cora, other people came in and helped you with those things?
Yes.
Were you eventually able to prepare her to leave the basement area?
Yes, once we get more first responders down there.
And fair to say there was first responders from other departments that came and helped prepare to bring Cora out of the basement, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall how she left the basement?
We took her out of the basement on a backboard up the bulkhead stairs.
And the firefighters that were assisting putting her on the backboard, do you remember where they were from, what town?
Marshfield.
When Cora was placed into an ambulance, do you remember what ambulance she was placed into?
Marshfield ambulance.
Did you continue to help assist them when she was put in the ambulance?
Yes, I went to the hospital with them.
And do you remember who the firefighters were that were from Marshfield that were helping you?
Yes, Andrew Wilkins, Ryan Henry, and Kerry Carver.
And fair to say Andrew and Ryan were in the back of the ambulance with you, correct?
Yes.
And Kerry was driving?
I believe she was in the back also.
Okay. At some point, somebody hopped in the front seat and drove?
Yes.
And when you got to the hospital, which hospital did you transport to?
Beth Israel, Plymouth.
Were efforts continued to be made in that transport from Duxbury to Beth Israel in Plymouth?
Yes.
While inside of the ambulance, did you try to use one of those cardiac machines to shock or defibrillate Cora?
Yes.
Was there any result for that?
We shocked once, but did not regain pulses.
And when you got to the hospital, did you transfer care to the emergency staff at Beth Israel?
Yes.
And did you do anything further on the care and treatment of Cora?
Not once we transferred care, no.
Mr. Reddington?
No questions. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down. Thank you.
Thanks.
Attorney Sprague?
Commonwealth calls Jennifer Stratton.
Same objection.
All right, we are on number 8, or number 9, sorry. another firefighter, paramedic. Again, it's important because each one of these people had a different experience with each child, and they're trying to paint the picture of what the children look like and what they did to help resuscitate, revive the children. And obviously, so far with Cora and with Dawson, they were unsuccessful, but they're talking about the measures that they took to do this. It's very important. It might be repetitive, but again, very important.
Hey, good morning. Hi. I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up so the jury can hear you, okay? Okay. Great, thank you. Yeah, Attorney Sprague.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yes, Jennifer Stratton, JenniferStratton,
And your date of birth?
July 11th, 1986.
Where do you work?
Duxbury Fire Department,
And how long have you been a Duxbury firefighter?
12 years.
Are you also a paramedic?
Yes,
And how long have you been a paramedic?
about 13.
And have you completed all the training and certification required to be a paramedic?
Yes,
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
yes, I was.
And were you working a 24-hour shift that started at 8 a.m.?
Yes,
And were you part of a crew that was dispatched to 47 Summer Street just after 6 p.m.?
yes.
And who was with you in that crew?
Firefighter Patrick Dwyer was with me in the engine that night.
And approximately how long did it take you to get from the station you were located at to 47 Summer Street?
Maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
And were you driving?
I was driving that night.
What did you see when you arrived?
Pulled up to the address, saw our ambulance crew. They had arrived just before we did. They were starting to walk to the back of the house.
And did you follow?
Yes.
And what did you see in the backyard?
Came to the backyard, saw firefighter Dan Doherty kneeling next to a person. It was very dark. Ended up being Miss Clancy. That was all we saw for a few seconds.
And at that point, did you hear something?
We did, heard a voice yelling for us to get inside of the house, that there was a kid hanging in the basement.
And did you go into the house?
We did.
And what entrance did you go in?
Through the slider doors in the rear.
And did that lead you into the kitchen?
Yes.
And then did you proceed to the basement?
Yes.
When you got down to the basement, down the basement stairs, would it be accurate to state that you can either go right or left?
Yes.
Which direction did you go?
We took a left.
And what did you see when you went left?
We took a left and we saw Callan and Cora face up on the ground.
And when you saw them, what did you do?
I immediately jumped on the radio to ask for 2 additional ambulances, that we needed more help. And Patrick ran to Cora and I went to Callan.
And
She said that she heard the kids were hanging in the basement. I thought that was interesting. Not sure if that's like a term that they use or if it was actually
Yes.
like.
And where was
So.
Cora, to your memory?
Cora was just to the left in this picture, and Callan was just to the right.
And when you say just to the left, are you putting over towards the equipment against the wall in the picture?
Yes.
And when you say to the right, are you pointing to the area to the right of the dresser?
Yes.
Showing you Exhibit 98. Is that the area where Callan was found?
Yes.
And close up, Exhibit 99. You see the pajamas there, the stethoscope, and the blue exercise band.
Yes.
Do you recall removing Callan's pajamas to treat him?
I did, yes.
So when you went over to Callan, you remove his clothing. What do you do after that?
I didn't remove his entire onesie right away. Made sure that checked him for a pulse. He did not have one. Immediately started chest compressions on him.
Now, for this is an 8-month-old baby,
Yes.
correct? Is the way you do chest compressions for a baby different than other people, other ages?
Yes, because of the size, you have to scoop your arms around and you compress with your thumbs and the
Oh, wow.
So you said you have to put your hands underneath on the back of the child and then use your thumbs to do compressions?
Yes.
And is that what you did for Callan?
Yes.
And what did you do next?
Continued CPR on him until more help and hands started to arrive on scene. We had an off-duty firefighter, Tom Brandt, come in, and he started to assist me. He took over compressions briefly while more help started to arrive.
When Brandt took over chest compressions, what did you do?
At that point, someone had brought down a bag valve mask to help us deliver oxygen to the child, and we started delivering oxygen to the child.
And at some point, did you remove the pajamas completely? Yes. And when you removed the pajamas completely, was that so someone could attempt to get IO access through the baby's legs? And was that successful?
That was not successful, no.
Is that difficult to do with a child that age?
It's a little more difficult. It's a less frequent practice skill, but.
Were multiple attempts made to get the IV and access into the bone in Callan's leg?
I attempted once, and another provider attempted a second time. I don't remember who that was.
And neither attempt was successful? What did you do next? Oh, what was your answer?
For which
I'm sorry. Was either attempt successful?
No.
What did you do next?
Eventually, Kingston Fire arrived on scene to provide the ambulance for transport for Callan. I don't know how long we were in the basement for, but we did make the decision eventually it was time to get moving to the truck and start going to the hospital.
While you were working on Callan, did you notice any injuries on him?
Yes, he had deep strangulation marks around the entire circumference of his neck.
And throughout the entire time that you're in the basement, are chest compressions being done and you're trying to assist him with breathing?
Yes.
Did he, in the home, ever regain a pulse or the ability to breathe?
No, he did not.
Was he eventually taken to the ambulance?
Yes.
And how was he removed from the basement and brought to the ambulance?
I scooped him up in my arms and carried him outside to the truck.
And did you go with him in that transport to the hospital?
Yes.
And at any point in time, did he regain the ability to breathe or heartbeat during that transport?
No, he did not.
Was care transferred to medical staff at Beth Israel Deaconess Plymouth?
Yes, they were.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Mr. Rington? You may step down. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So if you don't know, Callan was transferred to Beth Israel, and then I believe he was life-flighted to another hospital. I don't know which one. And he survived for 3 days. So when she says he didn't have a pulse, somehow or another they must have, because why was he in the hospital for a couple more days? So maybe at some point in time they'll oh, okay. Apparently we are at sidebar. Okay. Hello and welcome. My name is Missy K. I see we've got a lot of new people here today. Make sure to like and subscribe, thumbs up, all the things. Follow me, turn on your notifications. If you're missing some of the pictures of the things that are happening in trial, I will post them. I'm doing it I'm doing it in real time for some of these things. But if it's really, really heavy testimony, I'm usually writing notes, so I can't do both. But I did just for these last two paramedic firefighters. So you're not missing anything. You can always go to my YouTube page, my Facebook page, and X is where I'm posting things, but mainly my Facebook page, Legalese123. I kind of do like a recap of what each person is testifying to, if I can, that I'm not writing extensive notes. So I did look up a couple of things while we're talking. If you've ever seen, if you currently right now, The Pit is like the latest sort of medical drama TV show. And in one of the episodes, they had like a machine doing chest compressions instead of a person doing it. It's called a Lucas machine. Obviously, it stands for something. I asked whether or not a Lucas machine could be used on a child, and the answer is no. Probably because like the makeup of a body of an adult versus a child is different, so therefore it can't work on them. Because I wondered if like a Lucas machine, the one firefighter was talking about doing chest compressions and stuff on Cora, and that he needed help, that he couldn't do it by himself, or that he was like exhaustive in his efforts, right? And that's where a Lucas machine probably could come in. But I just wondered if whether or not a Lucas machine would be able to be utilized in that being it's a child. So the answer is no. The makeup is different. By the way, so they're at sidebar right now. Kevin Reddington is. Have you heard he objected to Jennifer Stratton, some of her characterizations of what's happening, in her terms and her terminology? She's using her medical terms that she uses to do her job.
Thank you. Robert Costanzo.
And Kevin Reddington doesn't like that. Okay, we are on witness number 10. And also, is this repetitive? Do you already have a clear picture of what happened? Do you need to hear more? Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think this is excessive? Do you think it's too much? Or you're like, no, each person needs to come in and say what they did when they were working on XYZ, what their observations were,
Good morning, sir.
what their efforts were to resuscitate,
If I may?
revive
Yes, please.
these
Thank you.
patients.
Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
It's Robert Costanzo, Costanzo,
And your date of birth, please.
4/24/1985.
Where do you work?
Pembroke Fire Department.
And how long have you been a Pembroke firefighter?
I've been there since 2011.
And are you also a paramedic?
I am.
How long have you been a paramedic?
I've been with Pembroke since 2011, and I started in EMS in 2006.
And have you done all the training and certification required to be a paramedic?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
Yes, I was.
And were you working an overtime shift that day?
Yes.
What was your role on that shift?
I was assigned to the ambulance.
And at some point after 6 p.m. that day, was there a call put out by Duxbury Fire Department for mutual aid?
Yes.
And being members of the Pembroke Fire Department, did you respond to that request for mutual aid?
Yes, we did.
Who responded?
It was me and my partner,
Who was your partner?
Dan Smith.
And did you go in an ambulance or some type of engine?
An ambulance.
And did you respond to the area of 47 Summer Street?
Yes, we did.
And approximately how long did it take you to get there?
Between 5 and 8 minutes.
When you arrived, what did you see?
There were multiple pieces of equipment, other ambulances, police cars.
When you arrived, were you directed to the backyard?
Yes.
And did you see a patient there in the backyard?
Yes, we did.
And where was she located?
She was on the ground with a Duxbury firefighter. She was already C-spined on a long board with a collar. She was unresponsive, but breathing on the ground.
And did you learn her name was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And when you say she was already on a board with a C-spine, what type of equipment are we talking about? And if you could just explain to the jurors.
So it's just a long flat board that we use to secure people when there's possible spinal injury. And she already had the collar on her neck. They had already started treatment prior to our arrival. So they had her all secured to the long backboard with the collar applied.
And did you notice anything about her wrists at that time?
Yes, her wrists were bandaged previously, assuming some kind of injury. There was no active bleeding or anything through the bandage. It was just, but her wrists were bandaged.
Was it white bandaging?
Yes.
And so nothing was seeping through to your eye? Did you see anything on her neck area?
She had some superficial lacerations that we could see around the collar, but we don't typically remove equipment after it's already been placed. So I didn't investigate any further than that. There was no active bleeding that I could see, so we just left it alone.
So there was, even with the collar, there was nothing, no blood flowing out of the collar or pooling around her or anything like that?
Correct.
Was she breathing?
She was.
Was she responsive?
No.
Was she making any noise at all?
She was moaning and groaning, but no words, no verbal response.
Did you bring her to your ambulance?
Yes, we did.
And when you got to the ambulance, what was your role?
I was the tech in charge, so we did as much of an assessment as we could without removing her from the board to look for any further injuries. Other than the injuries that the Duxbury Fire Department had already found, we didn't find any further injuries. And then we continued with treatment, vital signs and such.
When you did the assessment, did you look at her head?
Yes.
Were there any cuts or bumps or dents that you noticed in her head?
Not that we noticed, no.
What about her arms other than the bandaging on her wrists? Were there any cuts, obvious broken bones or injuries to her arms or her hands?
No obvious broken bones or anything, no.
And you said you were the tech. What does that mean?
I was the medic that was in charge. It's one or the other. You're either assisting the medic that's in charge or you're the medic in charge.
Okay.
So I was the medic in charge.
And was anyone else in the back of the ambulance with you treating Ms. Clancy?
Yes, my partner, Dan Smith.
Who was driving the ambulance, if you recall?
It was our deputy chief, Jim Shea.
And do you recall which hospital you went to?
South Shore Hospital.
While you're, well, let me ask you, how long approximately did it take you to get from 47 Summer Street in Duxbury to South Shore Hospital?
It's typically about, from Pembroke, it would be about 15 minutes, so it would be a little bit longer than that. I'm not sure the exact time, so probably maybe 18 minutes.
Okay. And while you're in that transport, in the back of the ambulance, after you've done this examination of Lindsay Clancy to see if there are any other injuries, what do you do next?
So we would start treatment. So we started putting 2 IVs as a precaution and any other treatment that was needed. So we noticed that her pupils were constricted and she was unresponsive. So we treated for a potential opioid overdose. We gave 2 milligrams of Narcan. And she seemed to become a little bit more agitated, trying to grab, reaching out with her arms, but no verbal communication. She never fully woke up.
And have you given Narcan to individuals in the past in your role as a paramedic?
Yes, I have.
What is the typical reaction when you give a patient Narcan?
It depends on the drug that they took or the amount of drugs that they took, but depending on what they take, their respirations will go up, their pupils will get a little bigger, or sometimes they fully wake up.
We know who they are, who's referred to.
The patient.
And you were referring to patients that you've dealt with in the past in your role as a paramedic, is
That's
that correct?
correct, yes.
Okay. And so they would often wake up when given Narcan?
Yes.
And what type of drugs, based on your training experience, does Narcan work on?
We're trained to use it for opioid overdoses, so heroin, fentanyl, other drugs like that.
Okay. And does Narcan typically work on benzodiazepine?
We are not trained to use it for anything other than opioids.
Okay. And when you gave Lindsay Clancy the Narcan, she did not wake up, correct?
No.
Did you provide any other care to Lindsay Clancy on the way to the hospital?
Just continued to monitor her vitals and make sure there was no decline.
And once you arrived at the hospital, did you transfer her care to the hospital staff?
Yes, we did.
No other questions?
All right. So you're not trained in Narcan on benzodiazepines, is that correct?
Yeah, we don't give it for benzodiazepines.
And in any event, when you gave Narcan to the body that was laying on the ground, and she had already been wrapped up on her wrist, right?
That's correct.
Already been wrapped up, had the thing on the neck to prevent the head from moving, right?
That's correct.
And also had bandages perhaps on her neck area, I'm not sure.
There were no bandages that I could see because
Just
the
the neck
collar
thing.
blocks. Yeah, most of it I could see. There are some holes in the collar that we could see some superficial lacerations through,
Right.
but there was no active bleeding. Her wrists were already bandaged, so we don't take the bandages off after they're on. And
Okay.
there was no blood
Good.
screws.
I asked the questions, you can answer them, okay? Narcan administered to Lindsay Clancy on the ground,
Oh my
yes?
goodness.
In the ambulance, but yes.
And there was no reaction. It didn't have any effect on her, right?
She appeared to become a little bit more, she started like reaching and grabbing a little bit more than she was before.
That's consistent as well with a person who's had a head injury, right?
Could be.
So in any event, the Narcan that you're trained would be dealing with opioids, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, did you know, sir, at all that she suffered a burst fracture of a cervical spine? Did you know that, sir?
No.
T5 through T6, T4, 6, 7, 8, all exploded, fractured. Did you know that?
No.
Did you know that there was hemorrhaging into her body, that she fractured every rib in her body?
No.
It was pretty dark out there, wasn't it?
It was.
Did you obviously administer aid to her, or did you also have like a flashlight on your head, or were you holding a flashlight, or what?
She was already packaged. She was already on the longboard and everything. So we picked her up, put her on the stretcher, and moved out of the backyard into the ambulance.
So how long did you handle, if you will, her while she was laying there?
On scene, we were only on scene for, I think it was 7 minutes, I think total on scene from the time that we.
Chaotic?
Yes.
And it was dark in the backyard, right?
Yes.
There was no exterior lighting, nothing on the house that was lit up like spotlights or anything, right?
That's correct.
No flashlights, right?
No.
And you scrutinized a hole in the thing that goes around the neck when someone has a head injury, especially a cervical injury, thoracic injuries. You scrutinized a hole that noted that there was superficial wound to it.
That's all we could see through the side of the collar.
Who's we?
Me and my partner.
Was your partner scrutinizing the hole as well?
The whole, I don't know.
You said there's a hole.
These are great questions.
Yeah, there's holes in the collar that you can see through.
Right, and you were scrutinizing. You were looking through it, right?
Yeah.
You just told the jury you saw
Yes.
superficial part of the neck, right?
Yes.
Did your partner look through the hole as well? And you've talked about your testimony with the district attorneys in the past, haven't you?
Yes.
One of the things that they asked you is whether or not it appeared as though the injuries to her neck or wrist were superficial. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And other than looking through the little hole in the thing around her neck in the dark, you didn't see her neck after that was removed, did you?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Commonwealth redirect?
Sir, after the 7 minutes that you were in the dark backyard, you were then in an ambulance for 18 minutes with the patient, correct?
That's correct.
And there's lighting in the ambulance, correct?
There is.
And during those 18 minutes in the well-lit ambulance, did you ever see blood seeping through the bandages on her wrists?
No.
During those 18 minutes in the well-lit ambulance, did you ever see blood pooling around her neck or flowing from the neck?
No.
Thank you.
Anything further? No. Thank you, sir. Please sit down. Thank you.
Okay, I need to know from you. They keep talking about, are these superficial wounds? Are they wounds that's
Come on,
so
Paul,
deep
Daniel
and
Dark.
gaping that they're,
You testify.
bleeding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? At this moment, is that are you hooked up on that or no? For me, I'm waiting for like the doctors who treated her to come in to say whether those are superficial or what their assessment is. I mean, I agree. How are you supposed? She's clamped. She's already packaged up. How can you see these things? He's making these determinations. I like that Kevin Reddington called him out on it, but it's not the hill that I'd want to die on. All right, witness number 11. But it was interesting that they dispensed Narcan to her
All right,
and
good
what
morning,
her
sir.
response was.
All right.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record
Daniel Dougherty, Dougherty.
and your date of birth?
8/27/1986.
Where do you work?
Duxbury Fire Department.
How long have you been with the Duxbury Fire Department?
5.5 years, full time.
Are you also a paramedic?
Yes.
And how long have you been a paramedic?
4 years.
And have you completed all the training and education and certification required to be a paramedic?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
I was.
And were you working a 24-hour shift?
Yes.
What was your role that day on shift?
Firefighter, paramedic.
And sometime after 6 p.m., did you respond to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes.
And when you responded, who was with you?
Firefighter Heath was driving and firefighter Nudd was in the back.
And so you're in ambulance 1 at that time?
Mhm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And when you arrive at 47 Summer Street, what do you see?
There was 2 police cruisers either blocking the driveway or near it. So we pulled ahead of it, stopped the truck and got out.
And did you head to get equipment and head to the backyard?
Yes.
And what did you see in the backyard?
We had Officer Hall kind of directing us towards the side of to the side gate. And from there, we went around to the back of the house.
And did you see a female on the ground?
We did.
And did you learn that was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
Do you recall what she was wearing?
I believe it was jeans and a tank top.
Did she also have socks on?
I believe so.
And did you examine her or assess her once you reached her?
Yes.
And what, if any, injuries did you observe?
She had lacerations to both wrists as well as her neck.
And were those lacerations actively bleeding?
No.
Can you describe the lacerations that you saw on her neck?
There was dried blood, seemed to be somewhat superficial since there was no active bleed.
And what about the cuts on her wrists?
Same.
And when you say same, are you saying that there was no active bleeding there?
Correct.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you do to treat those wounds?
We bandaged them up. I believe we placed a ABD pad, just a sterile pad on her neck as well.
You said an APD or a sterile pad. Is that just a type of like gauze or something that you put on the wound?
Yes.
Okay. And so you did that, and then you bandaged the wrists, or vice versa?
It was the wrist first, I believe. But we did secure the airway first before bandaging her wrist.
Okay. So when you first arrived, is she breathing on her own?
She was.
Was she responsive?
Somewhat.
What does that mean?
Not totally responsive. Pretty much the painful stimuli.
And what is painful stimuli?
As we were moving her, she somewhat regained consciousness on us.
And painful stimuli, is that when someone reacts physically or verbally to pain?
Yes.
And so you said that you assess her when you first get there. You said you did the airway first, is that right?
Yes.
And how did you go about doing that?
We placed an OPA device to secure her tongue down, just to protect her airway.
What's an OPA device?
It's a plastic device that depresses the tongue just to keep the airway open.
Okay. So it's not the tube that goes down?
No.
It's just something that holds the tongue down?
That's correct.
Okay. And after you did that, what was the next step?
We placed a non-rebreather air mask on her and set the oxygen.
So is that just a mask that goes on the face providing oxygen?
Yes.
And then what did you do next?
From there, that's when we heard the scream.
And so did you bandage the neck and the wrist before the breathing, securing the breathing, or after?
That was after.
Okay, so just to be clear, first is securing the tongue down, putting the oxygen mask on, and then you did the bandaging?
That came later, yes.
Later, okay. So was the bandaging before or after you heard the screams?
That was after.
Okay. So when you hear the screaming, what, if anything, do you do?
I looked at Captain Hussey and Firefighter Heath, and we kind of all looked at each other, trying to figure out what was going on.
Okay. And did any of you leave the area after hearing the screaming?
Captain Hussey did. Firefighter Heath went to go get a backboard for the patient.
Okay. And did you stay with Lindsay Clancy?
I did.
Okay. And then is it at that point that you do the bandaging, or after you get the backboard?
Kevin was gone for a while, so that's when I started bandaging up her wrists.
Okay. And did he eventually return with the backboard?
He did not.
So you bandage the wrists. What happens next?
I believe it was Officer Hall came to the backyard. He asked if I needed anything. I told him the board, kind of gave him a direction of where in the truck it was. And then he also left to go grab that for me.
And when you say the board, are you referring to the backboard?
Yes.
And did he return with the backboard?
Yes.
And was Ms. Clancy loaded onto the backboard?
She was.
And who assisted you with that?
It was Officer Hall, I believe, and our retired deputy.
And is there a process that you follow when placing someone onto a board to ensure that that you don't cause further damage?
Yes.
And what is that process?
Just C-spine precautions. So you secure the neck and kind of make sure that it's immobilized as you kind of move the patient.
So what did you do to secure her neck?
We had someone at her neck. I don't remember who it was. Just kind of hold steady that her neck didn't move in the process.
Okay. And then did you follow that protocol, the C-spine protocol, to safely put her onto the backboard?
Yes,
Okay. And at some point was a collar placed around her neck?
I believe so, yes.
And then what happened next?
I believe I got on the radio and asked our captain who was transporting first, because we knew that there was multiple patients at that point.
Okay. And what were you told?
Pembroke was on its way in. They may have just arrived, and she was going with Pembroke.
Okay. And were you part of the team that transported her from the backyard to the Pembroke ambulance?
Yes.
And did you help load her into the Pembroke ambulance?
Yes.
And did you go with them during that transport?
I did not.
After Ms. Clancy was loaded into the ambulance, did it leave?
Yes.
What did you do next?
I went to our ambulance that was in the driveway at that point.
Okay. And was Dawson Clancy in that ambulance?
He was.
And did you ride in the ambulance to the hospital with Dawson Clancy?
I did.
What was your role in that ambulance?
I was operating the bag valve mask for him.
So you're trying to provide oxygen to him through the bag valve mask? And was his care then transferred to Beth Israel Deaconess Plymouth medical staff?
Yes.
I have nothing further.
Attorney Reddington?
Tell me again, are you an EMT, a paramedic, or?
Paramedic.
Paramedic?
Mhm.
And how long do you study for that?
2 years plus.
Would that be full-time studying, or are you working at the same
I
time?
was working at the
Okay.
same time.
Do you know on that evening what the temperature was outside?
It was cold.
Wicked cold, wasn't it?
Mid-30s.
It was lower than that, wasn't it?
I couldn't. I was a
It
couple.
was really cold.
Yeah.
And how long was she laying in the snow and on the ground?
We got the call at 6-ish or whatever time it
Okay.
was. We
And the call
responded.
came because her husband came home from picking up food and found her on the ground, right?
Correct.
So you don't know how long she was laying in the snow on the ground, right?
No.
In the cold?
Correct.
And what's hemostasis? Do you know?
What's that?
What's hemostasis? What does that mean?
Just the coagulation.
And you know what the effect of hypothermia? Let me ask you, what's hypothermia?
It's just the body under temperature of the body.
Under temperature of the body?
Or your body is not at temperature that it should be.
Right, because of the environment, right? Cold, right?
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes it can be medically induced, right?
Mhm.
Hypothermia affects the blood flow, doesn't it?
Yes.
In fact, you actually have a thing called therapeutic hypothermia, right?
Mhm.
Like if they have to restrict the blood flow to either a heart or a brain or something, that a person can be induced medically to be cold,
Yes.
and it would restrict blood flow, right?
Mhm.
So all these questions about whether or not there's blood seeping through the wrist bandages and whether or not there's blood through the holes on the neck brace, you don't know what effect the hypothermia, if any, had on that, would you?
No.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Redirect?
Sir, there's typically heat in a hospital, correct?
Usually, yes.
And were you aware that, Ms. Clancy went to South Shore Hospital, correct?
Yes.
And are you aware that the wounds on her wrist did not have to be sutured until the following day?
I didn't get any of that information after.
Were you aware that the wound on her neck never had to be sutured?
Same answer.
Thank you.
Anything further? Thank you, sir.
Thank
You
you.
Step down. Thank you.
Commonwealth calls Vincent Cahill.
Sorry, I'm writing frantically. So the sutures on her wrists were not done until the next day. And then the sutures on her neck were never administered. Therefore, it wasn't so deep that she had to have it stitched up. That's very important information. Again, I'm waiting for the doctor to come in to testify to that. But apparently, the prosecution can testify by asking questions. Make sure to like and subscribe.
All right, good morning, sir.
Morning, Your Honor.
Sure.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Sure. My name is Vincent Cahill, to be Vincent. Last name Cahill, that'll be Cahill.
And your date of birth, please.
11/11/1996.
Where do you work?
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been with the Duxbury Police Department?
About 5.5 years.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you on patrol?
Yes.
And directing your attention further to approximately 6:11 p.m., were you dispatched to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you arrived there, well, how long did it take you to get there approximately?
A couple minutes.
And when you arrived there, what did you see?
When I arrived there, I saw a cruiser in the driveway, as well as an ambulance and a fire captain.
And did you head to the backyard?
Yes.
And did you see a woman on the ground there being cared for?
Yes.
And did you later learn that was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
At some point, do you hear or did you hear loud screaming?
Yes.
And as a result of that, did you go inside the home?
Yes.
And did you go to the basement area?
Yes.
And when you went down the basement stairs, did you go to the right or the left?
I initially went to the right and I was following the father.
So as you're going down the stairs, you say the father, is that Patrick Clancy?
Yes.
Do you see him as you're going down the basement stairs?
Yes.
And where is he coming from and where is he going to?
It's coming from my left, heading to my right.
And what is his demeanor?
He was screaming.
And as you came down the stairs, did he point in a direction?
Yes.
Where did he point to?
To the left side.
And is that where you headed?
Yes.
And when you went to the left, did you see two children on the floor in that area of the basement?
Yes.
And what did you do?
I checked the pulse of the 5-year-old girl and passed that information along. And then when fire came on scene, I then was backing away because fire was going to start taking care of the 5-year-old girl. I then backed into the infant who was on the ground.
So you said that you checked the 5-year-old. Was that Cora Clancy?
Yes.
You checked her for a pulse. Did she have a pulse?
No.
And you said fire came down and started taking over. Was that firefighters from Duxbury Fire Department?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said you started backing up. Is that when you bumped into Callan Clancy?
Yes, ma'am.
And at that point in time, what did you do next?
I checked Callan's pulse.
And did he have a pulse?
No.
Did firefighters take over care of Callan?
Yes.
At that point, did you do something to make it easier for the people to fit in the room and treat the children?
Yes. I moved a large futon or ottoman, piece of furniture.
And I'm showing you Exhibit 96. Directing your attention to the couch bed and the ottoman on top of it. Were you the one that placed that ottoman on top of the couch bed?
Yes, ma'am.
After that, were you asked to help get some equipment for the children?
Yes.
And did you do that?
Yes.
And did you bring the equipment to the basement?
Yes.
And after that, did you assist with getting Cora to the ambulance?
I assisted with rescue breaths with Cora as well as CPR. I aided with Officer Josephine.
And how were you doing the rescue breaths and the CPR?
I was using a bag valve mask. Myself and Officer Josephine were timing it every couple seconds. It was 15 seconds. I was doing rescue breaths on Cora.
Okay. And at some point, she's taken out of the basement into an ambulance, correct?
Yes.
Did you assist with that?
I don't recall.
And at any point, did she regain a pulse or ability to breathe while you were helping to assist her? at some point in time where you've given the task of monitoring who came into the scene and who left the scene
Yes.
throughout the night,
Yes.
and showing you what's entitled crime scene entry and exit log. Is this the form that you were in charge of just documenting every time someone came to the scene or left the scene?
Yes, ma'am.
If I could have this marked as the next exhibit, please.
Any objection?
No.
That may be admitted.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Counsel? No. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if we may approach side by.
Sure.
Okay. All right. There is a lot going on. Okay. Couple of questions. Are you worried about like whether or not oh my goodness. Okay. Court's done for the day. Hang on just a second. Court's done for the day.
You know that, so I'm going to excuse you till, it's my impression we are having to talk to counsel.
Hang on.
Was considered would be a couple, yes, you should excuse, and
Hold on.
that we have to kind of hammer out and get done. Right. To kind of hammer out and get done. And rather than have you wait around, I'm not quite sure how long that's going to go. I'm going to excuse you for the day. All right.
Wow.
Sometimes the schedules don't always match up what I tell you they're going to do even a couple hours before. So I'm going to excuse you until tomorrow morning. All right. And so tomorrow morning, the plan is that we're going to go on this view. And I'll explain it a little bit more in detail tomorrow, but just so you can kind of picture it in your head, I'm going to ask you to be here, to be ready to come out here at 9 o'clock. I'm going to address you, probably ask those same questions. Then I'll give you a little bit of information about the view. I'll give you an instruction. What the view is, we're going to go to a couple of areas. You're going to be able to get out and look at these areas. The lawyers will be there. They'll be able to point out what they feel is significant. And at that point, we'll then come back. We'll consider continue with some of the testimony. We may end up a little bit early tomorrow as well in regards to the schedule. And at that point, I'm going to talk to counsel, kind of see where we are in regards to the overall schedule. But it's my impression that we are ahead of schedule at this point.
Oh, they're ahead of schedule. Really?
You know that. So I'm going to excuse you till tomorrow morning rather than have you sit here and just kind of wait in regards to that. So I'm going to excuse you till tomorrow. I'd ask you to be here at 9, check the weather, but you'll be on the view in the morning, and then there'll be some witnesses in the afternoon. All right. So remember, I'm going to ask you those questions. Don't read anything. Don't talk about it. Don't do any research. Don't take any field trips. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay. Thank you.
Court, all right.
Okay, I'm going to turn the volume down just a little bit just to see. All right. So what I think is happening is I think potentially that there's a couple of things going on. We know already that Mr. Reddington has filed a couple of motions about what limiting, like what comes in, what doesn't come in. He's not happy about all of these firefighters and people coming in, sort of reiterating the same things, making statements that aren't favorable to Lindsay Clancy as far as like the superficial wounds. So, hang on.
The media, the court had issued previously a specific order regarding the view. There's a supplemental order issued this morning. So everybody should just be aware of that. And I want to thank everybody for their consideration, and we'll be in recess until tomorrow morning.
All right.
Okay. That's it. Oh boy. Okay, so okay, hang on. Yeah, no, court's gone. Okay. Uh, uh, okay. Bye-bye. All right, hello everybody and welcome to Legalese 123. I'm your host, Missy K. The court just yeeted itself. All right. I'm baffled about a couple of things. If you I can't stop laughing. Why? Because this is supposed to be, just FYI, this is supposed to be a 6 to 8 week trial, right? If you are a juror, and you let me know in the comments are open. If you are a juror and you're like, man, this is going to be a long trial, if you plan on being at the trial all day, don't you want to hear as much testimony as you can to get it over with? And maybe by chance, they might have overestimated what was going to happen, and therefore it doesn't go that long, right? And that's happened a couple of times. That happened in the Banfield case, where they had said it was going to be an X long amount of time, and then said witnesses didn't come in, and therefore it got cut in half. Everybody's like, yay, this is great. Okay. So questions. Christina has a couple of different questions. Write your questions. So Kimberly said that it's emotional for sure, very emotional. I'm not sure what you mean by not hooked up at all. The officer said that they weren't bleeding either. She's talking about the wounds. Who is covering the town while the whole town is there? That's a great question. So if you heard, this is happening in Duxbury. They had firefighters and people from Pembroke. They had people from Kingston and Marshfield. And of course, everybody from Duxbury was there. Now, mind you, these are somewhat small towns, little like suburbia places outside of Boston, right? Suburbs outside that area. So who was covering Duxbury? I don't know. And I hope there weren't any other emergencies in Duxbury, because everybody and their mother was over at the Clancy house. And rightfully so, right? You have 3 children, the mother, and then Patrick. 5 people that they're having to take care of. So it was a lot. It was a lot. And thank you so much to the first responders, the firefighters, the paramedics, the police. Without them, without you, who knows what, right? Exactly. It's their jobs to come out and try to help out and perhaps save a life. And unfortunately, they were too late. And so I your mind wanders when you do these things. So my mind was wandering. Oh, make sure to like and subscribe, the thumbs up, the whole follow, turn on your notifications, etc. So my sister is Christina. She says, how much did she have so much time to do the kids and herself? Wow. So that's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly where my mind wanders. And unfortunately, I did Google that. And Kimberly asked, is anybody going to testify about her mental health? Yes. So do you realize that the method that she used, which was the exercise bands, it does not take long, especially for a child, to do that. And I Googled this, and I wanted to share this with you. Strangulation can render a victim unconscious in seconds. Strangulation blocks the veins and the arteries in the neck so that oxygenated blood cannot flow to the brain, and deoxygenated blood cannot flow from the brain. It takes 11 pounds of pressure to cut off blood flow. Temporary or permanent brain damage can occur as little as 30 seconds. Brain death can occur in 4 to 5 minutes. So, seconds. To give you sort of a time frame, Patrick Clancy we'll go back to like the phone calls, right? Patrick Clancy was in CVS at 5:33 when he called her. So, and he said it takes about 3 minutes or so to get to CVS, but we also know he was there a little bit longer because they were talking about that email that he had sent. So, Patrick Clancy, let's just say Patrick Clancy was at the CVS parking lot because the email was sent at 5:25. So let's say Patrick Clancy was at the CVS at 5:20, give or take, right? He was there at 5:20. The 911 call he made was like at 6:09. So 30 minutes-ish. So Kimberly asked, is anyone going to testify about her mental health? The answer is yes. We're not there yet. We still have a long way to go. Remember, 6-8-week trial. Today, we just heard from firefighters and police. They said they're ahead of schedule. Did they cut off some of the firefighters and people? Probably. Remember, there's 200 plus people they have on their witness list. Remember, Kevin Reddington was fighting very hard to not continue to have a repetitive, all of these firefighters coming in. If you heard about the Karen Reed case, everybody and their mother there was talking, they interviewed everybody in the first trial, right? And you're like, this is so repetitive. This is so boring. I'm not saying that it's not important. I said that each one of these things is important. Do you feel that what you heard today gives you a clear picture of the state of the children when they were discovered from paramedics and firefighters, what life-saving measures they did, and that they were not successful, and their treatment? Now, this is just the people who responded to the house. Are we going to hear from doctors? Probably. Are we going to hear from hospital personnel? I would say that's like the next step. The people who treated the children at the hospitals, they might come in. And at some point in time, then you're going to have the coroner come in and talk specifically about so when we talk about how quickly these things are, what I just described to you, they're going to say that because the jury needs to know, because this is a question that the jury is going to ask. How is it possible that she did this within this time frame? This is a question the jury is going to ask. And the prosecution and the defense have to try to eliminate juror questions, because you as a juror, if you have questions in your mind and it goes time to deliberate and those questions haven't been answered, you are going to try to seek the answer. It's been proven that that's the case. Even though you're not supposed to seek the answer, meaning with the evidence and stuff, or you're going to be speculating. That happens. But you just have to just kind of go with what the evidence is. So the prosecution and the defense are trying to preempt that and answer and give them all of the answers to their questions as much as they possibly can. So yes, someone's going to come in, a medical professional is going to come in and talk about everything. Talk about the injuries on each child, what they had, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How can someone do that? And you're going to hear extensive testimony on those things. So there will be a lot of medical professionals coming in to talk about each one of the children. They're going to talk about Lindsay and Lindsay's injuries, whether it's superficial or not or whatever. And you heard Kevin Reddington talk about hypothermia and how cold it was outside and how long a person was outside. we don't know how long Lindsay Clancy was outside for. We don't know. So, so remember that it's stated that it is believed that the children were already unalived by the time that she got the phone call from him and she called him back. How do we know this? I don't know. The prosecution stated that in their opening statement. So the kids were somewhat already incapacitated between the time that he left and that the call was at 5:34 was the missed call, and like, or she called him back at 5:34. So within 5, 10, 15 minutes. So then if she like ran upstairs quickly, did the things that she did for herself, and she was, let's say she was out on the lawn at 5:40, we'll just give her a little bit of time. 5:40, she was out on the lawn for 20, maybe 30 minutes. Do I have the opening statement somewhere? Yeah, go to day one, go to my YouTube page, day one, Lindsay Clancy. And you could just zoom through and see the opening statement from the prosecutors. But just remember, opening statements are not evidence. Evidence has to come in through witnesses and then like the physical things that come in. All right, Kimberly says that she knows. I can just show you. Kimberly says, I know a young lady who had psychosis. Every time she goes into the grocery store, she says it turns into a forest. She believes the staff that work there are verbally attacking her. That is very scary and sad. So again, we have to like put things into perspective. Did Lindsay Clancy intentionally harm her children, or was it a moment of psychosis and her something went off? She said she heard a man's voice. She said she heard a man's voice that told her to do it now. This was her opportunity. Do it now. But now let's talk about Lindsay Clancy. She talks about it like it's nothing, Kimberly says. Kimberly says that the person in the forest says it. She talks about like it's nothing. That is very scary. Very, very scary. So let's talk about Lindsay Clancy for a second. We know that she got a knife. She had done some stuff to her wrists and to her neck. They say that they're superficial. The prosecution testified that her wrists weren't sutured until the next day, and that her neck was never sutured, which means that it wasn't super deep that she needed to have stitches, right? So again, prosecution's testifying. She did it in a proper way. She asked, do you know? Now she's asking an ambulance or a firefighter or paramedic that information. And obviously I knew that they didn't know, because they didn't. Once you give the care to the people in the hospital, your job is done and you walk away and go on to your next stuff. So he doesn't know what happened in the custody, care, and control of Lindsay in the hospital. But Lindsay was taken to a different hospital. She was taken to South Shore. The 3 kids were taken to Beth Israel, and I believe Callan was life flighted and taken to another hospital. Kimberly says that some days she walks right past me and doesn't even seem to know me. I've known her since she was born. It's quite strange. That is really interesting. So, what do you guys think so far? It's kind of bizarre. And just remember, we only have a small picture that's painted for us, right? This just started. We don't have all of the pieces to the puzzle just yet. We're getting little bits and pieces that are put together for us that are painting a picture. But remember, each side has their own narrative. The prosecution says that she maliciously, intentionally did this. And then the defense says she was overtired, she was overmedicated, and she had postpartum psychosis. So I have no words. I have no words. But I am quite surprised that they're done for the day. They're done for the day. So if you're just joining me, the Lindsay Clancy trial for today is done. They're done. They're ahead of schedule, which I don't know. Did they run out of witnesses? That happens sometimes. That happens that you go by quickly and you run out of witnesses. Or perhaps the defense won their motion to limit the people that were coming in to testify about the same thing over and over again. So maybe they had like 10 or 15 more people to come in, and the judge was like, nope, we need to limit this. I don't know. And do you think that some of the testimony from these firefighters, paramedics, police officers were repetitive? Where you're like, okay, I already know that. I already know that. When they switched between the prosecutors and the one prosecutor was asking some of the same questions that were just answered, I was like, okay, this is a little repetitive here. I hope we're going to move along. But I understand the transition between the two, and I understand that the prosecutor has, they have preset questions that they have and that they're going through, and that's their train of thought. And if you derail their train of thought, then they don't know what's going on. So that is what's going on. So that begs the question, what is Missy going to do for the rest of the day? Well, remember, we might have something else. Let me just Google this really quickly. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, ideas in reference to the Lindsay Clancy case. Courtney Clenny was supposed to have a hearing today, and I was going to look and see if we have that. I don't see anything thus far. Let me just do a little research. I don't see it. All right. Well, so yeah, Kimberly, you're right. I think it's important to know the aftermath. Plus, you also want to know, like, what's the condition of the children when they saw them? I mean, we know that Patrick Clancy testified, and he said that when he went to go see Dawson, he knew that he was gone. But you never know that they're gone until the first responders come in and do their assessment on it, etc. But it was interesting to hear that Callan had no pulse. And the only reason why I know what transpired with him, because I Googled it. But if you're a juror and you're not at home, you can't do that. So they don't know just yet. So just think about this. The jurors don't know that Callan survived or was still being treated and wasn't pronounced for 3 more days. The 27th, 24th, 3 more days. So they'll know that, because next up are the doctors, nurses, I'm not sure who they're going to call, that treated the children when they arrived at the hospital. So the way that the picture is presented and the way that it has to come into evidence, like the rules of procedure for evidence coming into trial, is that at some point in time, the kids need to be pronounced deceased, because she's being charged with unaliving them. And now I know this sounds morbid. I know this sounds kind of callous, but somebody needs to come in and to say they are deceased. And who is that? It's the doctor that pronounced them as deceased. Now, sometimes we don't always get that. It depends on how the trial is going. If it's sort of, how do I describe it? If it's an active trial, meaning that it's not too far distance from the incident happening, then you have those doctors and stuff to come in. If it's one that it's a cold case or a case that hasn't been tried for a very long time, those doctors may not be around or available to come in. For example, I was covering a hearing that happened in Florida of a man who it wasn't necessarily a cold case, but for some reason, through the passage of time, he wasn't tried for the case for like 10 plus years. And hang on, let me see if I can tell you. It's been excuse me, it's been a long time. There's so many cases that I've covered. Let's see. Who was it? DeMorris Hunter. So just FYI, if you ever want to go back and see some of the cases that I covered, what have you, you can go to my YouTube channel at Legalese123, and you could go to playlists. And it has, first it has Fraser Bohm, Sarah Grace Patrick, Lindsay Clancy, obviously, Raul Valet, Courtney Clenny, Alex Murdaugh, Kelsey Fitzsimmons, DeMorris Hunter. So DeMorris Hunter case, he was being tried for unaliving his girlfriend, and through time, because he was serving a sentence somewhere else for something else in California. He was a fugitive at the time, by the way. He was a fugitive running from, he lived in California. He was a fugitive running from the law because he had just unalived someone there, and the popo was coming to go get him, but he ran away. This was like in the 90s. He ran away, went to Florida, was living there, and then he committed another crime, and then he fled there and went to Texas. He was on America's Most Wanted, was caught in Texas, then he was sent back to California to go on trial for that, and then he was in jail, and then COVID happened, and so like, you know, the courts and everything took its dear sweet time, and then eventually he was on trial for her unaliving in Florida, and that years had gone by. And so in that case, a coroner had to come in and talk about another coroner's prior findings to testify that the woman was deceased and how she died. So it has to come in because that's part of the process, that they have to say that the person is deceased. Now, Kevin Reddington continues to say that they stipulate that she did it. And so what does that mean? Yes, you can stipulate that she did it, and that he's trying to deflect from what the prosecution wants to present. He doesn't want all of this stuff to come in to the trial because it might be skewed that, yeah, she actually harmed the children and she wasn't mentally ill. But you can't tell the prosecution what to do. So they have to paint this picture. They have to build the puzzle, give us the puzzle pieces to put it together, and it has to be complete in order for it to go to the jury, because then the jury has instructions and stuff. And if the prosecution missed something in it, then what's the repercussions? The repercussions are that a piece of evidence didn't get put in, and the defense finds out after either she's been convicted or if she's found not guilty, then it's not a big deal. But if she's found guilty and then the defense finds that there was a piece of evidence they didn't put in that could ultimately lead towards her innocence, then what happens? It goes up on appeal. Like the Murdaugh trial, it goes up on appeal. And if they find that, yes, actually, there is some sufficient evidence that she did it, or was found, it could lead to her innocence, then guess what? She gets a new trial. And I don't know about you, but we just do not want to have new trials. The taxpayers pay for this. It is absurd. It's absurd. So we are waiting for the picture to be painted. All right, La Lovies, I've been at this for 3 hours and 14 minutes with you. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on your notifications because you never know what's going to pop off. Last night, we got the Corey Richins update. If you don't know, I'm going to tell you really quickly. Corey Richins out of Utah. Go to my YouTube page. Go under Corey Richins. You can see all the stuff that happened with her. Her lawyers said that the judge in the case was mean to them. I am paraphrasing, but I'm not. And that they wanted a new trial and they don't want this judge. And they can ask all they want. That's not the law. That's not the procedure. And so the judge in the case recused himself from hearing this portion, said, another judge, you need to go ahead because they said that I was biased. So if I am, then maybe perhaps I just need to step aside. The other judge said, no, you aren't. You get to decide this. So that was a huge bombshell that came out just last night. I posted the motion from the judge, and I'm going to do a TikTok about it. So the judge said, nope, Judge Mrazek, you get to hear it. So there might be a hearing in that tomorrow as well. So we just don't know. So make sure you turn your notifications on because you just never know what is going to pop off. So if you don't know as well, I post on my Facebook page sort of the cases that I'm following, some of the motions that we're looking for answers for, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I updated it yesterday. I need to update it again. So I'm going to do that here shortly. And then I'm going to see if we can find anything going on in the Courtney Clancy case. I was hoping that the mainstream media would cover it, but they didn't. And it might be on Zoom, but since I'm here, I can't be on Zoom at the same time. So we will see. So I'm going to stop this stream right now for Lindsay Clancy. I'm going to take a break and eat the rest of my breakfast. And if I find something about Courtney Clancy, I'm going to come back on for that. So check your spaces. I might be back on maybe in about an hour or so, because that's what I was planning on doing today. All right, La Lovies, thank you so much for joining me right now. Check your spaces and turn your notifications on because I might pop back up later on and could use your assistance in talking about the next cases we're going to follow. So thank you so much, and like, subscribe, etc., share, and I'll see you probably in a little bit as soon as I can get everything together. Thank you. Appreciate you. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching Legalese 123. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe for more content.